Shabbat Shalom to the home team. Shabbat Shalom. I'm right back in the lab. I'm right back to work. You hear me? The reason why is because this material we covered last time we encountered was devastating. Alright? We talked about nano technology, alright, effect on you, breaking down harmful technology, detox, full spectrum, dominance, alright? That's all some serious play. That ain't nothing to play with. First I just wanna break bread with the people that logged in and checked me out. You heard me? And just want to give Ahau to some people, you know, that leave comments. You know, Robert Salazar, Nano Israel, Brian McClure, Drakan, JDL, Light Sword of Truth. All right. ADBC 1F72. Man, look, the water for y'all energy. The water. You heard me? I do this for y'all. I do this for the tribe. You heard me? Not really caring about if I'm exposed or not. You know what I'm saying? Because when you start leaking out shit like this, you start getting under somebody's radar, which is all good to me. Man, I ain't really tripping. I've been under somebody's radar since I've been born, since we all been born. So just to know it ain't gonna make no difference. You hear me? I fear no one but Ahchwa. Alright? Just wanna thank y'all for y'all Ahau. You heard me? Drakan, the water, my brother. I haven't replied yet, but thank you for your message. Keep up the excellent study, my brother. Everyone should be in this classroom. The water. Nano Israel. Khan, this class is mandatory, family. Much Ahau, act yourself. Robert Salazar. I enjoy being in your classroom yourself. Got the water. Alright. Anthony. AJ Johnson, you know what I mean? Been rocking with us. Alright, check it out, man. Lower worms of defiance, synthetic nano spirit takers, the dust. But don't forget with smoke out of his nose and fire out of his mouth. That's how the powwow rocks for us. So while they think they are surrounded, Ahchwa has them surrounded. They think we can't connect, but we are plugged in. They will be my footstools. The water, Ahchwa. Much Ahau yourself. Straight up, man. Look, the water for all y'all energy. You heard me? I put this out there for y'all. And nonetheless, man, let's go on pop off. You heard me? Because we got a continuation. Probably another lengthy video. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of topics to cover. Okay, a lot of topics to cover. So let's go get the word real quick before we pop off with anything.
Two Esdras from the Holy Bible, Revised Standard Version, also known as 4 Ezra. Chapter 1. The second book of the prophet Ezra, the son of Sariah, son of Azariah, son of Hilkiah, son of Shallum, son of Zadok, son of Ahitub, son of Ahia, son of Phinehas, son of Eli, son of Amariah, son of Azariah, son of Meraioth, son of Arna, son of Uzi, son of Borith, son of Abishua, son of Phinehas, son of Eleazar, son of Aaron, of the tribe of Levi, who was a captive in the country of the Medes, in the reign of Artaxerxes, king of the Persians. The word of the Lord came to me, saying, Go and declare to my people their evil deeds, and to their children the iniquities which they have committed against me, so that they may tell their children's children, that the sins of their parents have increased in them, for they have forgotten me and have offered sacrifices to strange gods. Was it not I who brought them out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage? But they have angered me and despised my counsels. Pull out the hair of your head, and hurl all evils upon them, for they have not obeyed my law. They are a rebellious people. How long shall I endure them? On whom have I bestowed such great benefits? For their sake I have overthrown many kings. I have struck down Pharaoh with his servants and all his army. I have destroyed all nations before them, and scattered in the east the people of 2 provinces, Tyre and Sidon. I have slain all their enemies. But speak to them and say, Thus says the Lord, Surely it was I who brought you through the sea, and made safe highways for you where there was no road. I gave you Moses as a leader, and Aaron as priest. I provided light for you from a pillar of fire, and did great wonders among you. Yet you have forgotten me, says the Lord. Thus says the Lord Almighty, The quails were assigned to you. I gave you camps for your protection, and in them you complained. You have not exulted in my name at the destruction of your enemies, but to this day you still complain. Where are the benefits which I bestowed on you? When you were hungry and thirsty in the wilderness, did you not cry out to me, saying, Why hast thou led us into this wilderness to kill us? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in this wilderness. I pitied your groanings and gave you manna for food. You ate the bread of angels. When you were thirsty, did I not cleave the rock so that waters flowed in abundance? Because of the heat I covered you with the leaves of trees. I divided fertile lands among you. I drove out the Canaanites, the Perizzites, and the Philistines before you. What more can I do for you, says the Lord? Thus says the Lord Almighty, When you were in the wilderness at the bitter stream, thirsty and blaspheming my name, I did not send fire upon you for your blasphemies, but threw a tree into the water and made the stream sweet. What shall I do to you, O Jacob? You would not obey me, O Judah. I will turn to other nations and will give them my name, that they may keep my statutes. Because you have forsaken me, I will also forsake you. When you beg mercy of me, I will show you no mercy. When you call upon me, I will not listen to you. For you have defiled your hands with blood, and your feet are swift to commit murder. It is not as though you had forsaken me. You have forsaken yourselves, says the Lord. Thus says the Lord Almighty, Have I not entreated you as a father entreats his sons, or a mother her daughters, or a nurse her children? That you should be my people, and I should be your God, and that you should be my sons, and I should be your father? I gathered you as a hen gathers her brood under her wings. But now, what shall I do to you? I will cast you out from my presence. When you offer oblations to me, I will turn my face from you, for I have rejected your feast days, and new moons, and circumcisions of the flesh. I sent to you my servants the prophets, but you have taken and slain them, and torn their bodies in pieces. Their blood I will require of you, says the Lord. Thus says the Lord Almighty, Your house is desolate. I will drive you out as the wind drives straw. And your sons will have no children, because with you they have neglected my commandment, and have done what is evil in my sight. I will give your houses to a people that will come, who without having heard me will believe. Those to whom I have shown no signs will do what I have commanded. They have seen no prophets, yet will recall their former state. I call to witness the gratitude of the people that is to come, whose children rejoice with gladness, though they do not see me with bodily eyes. Yet with the Spirit they will believe the things I have said. And now, Father, look with pride and see the people coming from the east. To them I will give as leaders Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Hosea, and Amos, and Micah, and Joel, and Obadiah, and Jonah, and Nahum, and Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi, who is also called the messenger of the Lord. Chapter 2. Thus says the Lord, I brought this people out of bondage, and I gave them commandments through my servants the prophets, but they would not listen to them, and made my counsels void. The mother who bore them says to them, Go, my children, because I am a widow and forsaken. I brought you up with gladness, but with mourning and sorrow I have lost you, because you have sinned before the Lord God, and have done what is evil in my sight. But now what can I do for you? For I am a widow and forsaken. Go, my children, and ask for mercy from the Lord. I call upon you, Father, as a witness in addition to the mother of the children, because they would not keep my covenant, that you may bring confusion upon them, and bring their mother to ruin, so that they may have no offspring. Let them be scattered among the nations. Let their names be blotted out from the earth, because they have despised my covenant. Woe to you, Assyria, who conceal the unrighteous in your midst, a wicked nation. Remember what I did to Sodom and Gomorrah, whose land lies in lumps of pitch and heaps of ashes. So will I do to those who have not listened to me, says the Lord Almighty. Thus says the Lord to Ezra, Tell my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I was going to give to Israel. Moreover, I will take back to myself their glory, and will give to these others the everlasting habitations which I had prepared for Israel. The tree of life shall give them fragrant perfume, and they shall neither toil nor become weary. Ask and you will receive. Pray that your days may be few, that they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. Call, O call heaven and earth to witness, for I have left out evil and created good, because I live, says the Lord. Mother, embrace your sons. Bring them up with gladness, as does the dove. Establish their feet, because I have chosen you, says the Lord. And I will raise up the dead from their places, and I will bring them out from their tombs, because I recognize my name in them. Do not fear, mother of sons, for I have chosen you, says the Lord. I will send you help, my servants Isaiah and Jeremiah. According to their counsel I have consecrated and prepared for you 12 trees, loaded with various fruits, and the same number of springs flowing with milk and honey, and 70 mighty mountains on which roses and lilies grow. By these I will fill your children with joy. Guard the rights of the widow. Secure justice for the fatherless. Give to the needy. Defend the orphan. Clothe the naked. Care for the injured and the weak. Do not ridicule a lame man. Protect the maimed, and let the blind man have a vision of my splendor. Protect the old and the young within your walls. When you find any who are dead, commit them to the grave and mark it, and I will give you the first place in my resurrection. Pause and be quiet, my people, because your rest will come. Good nurse, nourish your sons and strengthen their feet. Not one of the servants whom I have given you will perish, for I will require them from among your number. Do not be anxious, for when the day of tribulation and anguish comes, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but you shall rejoice and have abundance. The nations shall envy you, but they shall not be able to do anything against you, says the Lord. My hands will cover you, that your sons may not see Gehenna. Rejoice, O mother, with your sons, because I will deliver you, says the Lord. Remember your sons that sleep, because I will bring them out of the hiding places of the earth, and will show mercy to them. For I am merciful, says the Lord Almighty. Embrace your children until I come, and proclaim mercy to them, because my springs run over, and my grace will not fail. I, Ezra, received a command from the Lord on Mount Horeb to go to Israel. When I came to them, they rejected me and refused the Lord's commandment. Therefore I say to you, O nations, that hear and understand, await your shepherd. He will give you everlasting rest, because he who will come at the end of the age is close at hand. Be ready for the rewards of the kingdom, because the eternal light will shine upon you forevermore. Flee from the shadow of this age. Receive the joy of your glory. I publicly call on my Savior to witness. Receive what the Lord has entrusted to you and be joyful, giving thanks to him who has called you to heavenly kingdoms. Rise and stand and see at the feast of the Lord of the number of those who have been sealed. Those who have departed from the window of this age have received glorious garments from the Lord. Take again your full number, O Zion, and conclude the list of your people who are clothed in white, who have fulfilled the law of the Lord. The number of your children whom you desired is full. Beseech the Lord's power that your people, who have been called from the beginning, may be made holy. I, Ezra, saw on Mount Zion a great multitude, which I could not number, and they all were praising the Lord with songs. In their midst was a young man of great stature, taller than any of the others, and on the head of each of them he placed a crown, but he was more exalted than they. And I was held spellbound. Then I asked an angel, "Who are these, my Lord?" He answered and said to me, "These are they who have put off mortal clothing, and have put on the immortal, and they have confessed the name of God. Now they are being crowned and receive palms." Then I said to the angel, "Who is that young man who places crowns on them and puts palms in their hands?" He answered and said to me, "He is the Son of God, whom they confessed in the world." So I began to praise those who had stood valiantly for the name of the Lord. Then the angel said to me, "Go, tell my people how great and many are the wonders of the Lord God which you have seen." Chapter 3.
Nonetheless, for the word we quam. For the word we quam. Halal why, you know what I mean? Alright, so we got the word in. Let's go and get it. Alright, because we're right back here. Okay, silent weapons for quiet wars. Okay, what are we talking about, y'all? Talking about this documentation, okay, that was discovered, alright? And the origination of this, okay? Understand that what we're talking about is energy, frequency, and vibrations, okay? Understand that the people can't understand this kind of weapon, alright? Understand that silent weapon technology has evolved from operations OR, alright? I pointed this out many of times, multiple times. Okay, so the foundation was OR, okay? A strategic and tactical methodologically developed, okay, under military management, alright? During World War II. Okay, so the original purpose of operations research was study the strategic and tactical problems of air and land defense with objective of effective use of limited military resources against enemies, okay? The objective was use of limited military resource, okay? So, got a development, alright? So a lot of things had to pop off, okay? Social engineering had to step up, computers had to step up, transistors had to pop off, okay? And so forth. Rockefeller gave grants, okay, for graduates, undergraduates to go over here to Harvard, you know what I'm saying, and do their thing, okay? Come back and break bread with them and give them information, okay? Understand that energy is the key of everything, okay? Energy is recognized as the key to all activity on Earth. This is true, okay? This is true, all the way, all right? So, let's go on and talk about the main reason why I'm here in this PDF, okay? Let's go on and get it. But we'll start over here at the top, okay? In order to achieve total predictability, okay? In order to achieve total predictable economy, the low-class elements of society must be brought under control. All right, now I'm going to let that sink in the head for a minute, all right? The low class, all right, we're talking about Poyasharella, right? Ghettos, right? Come on now, let's not be naive. Let's go. Must be brought under control. Must be housebroken. My naga, who's housebroken? Huh? Trained and assigned a yoke, who's been having a yoke around their neck, and long-term social duties from a very early age. All right, so give them responsibility at an early age. Okay, why? Before they have an opportunity to question the property of the matter. Like, why? Like, why? All right, so let's say you have a child, he's like 4 or 5 years old. Every day his job is go down there and get water and bring back water to the village. At an early age, he grows up till he's 20 years old, he's still doing the same thing. In order to achieve such conformity, okay, the lower class family units must be disintegrated by a process of increasing preoccupation of the parents and the establishment of government-operated daycare centers for the applicational orphan children. All right. So letting you know, man, look, we got to jig at the parents, okay? Because that's who we're going to hit them with. The quality of education, even to the lower class, must be of the poorest sort. So who gets that education already? Right? The cities, right? And the sub areas, right? Well, not the suburbs, but you know what we're talking about. We're talking about the ghetto. We're talking about the hood. Okay? So, must be of the poorest sort, so that the mote of ignorance is isolating the inferior class from the superior class is and remains incomprehensible to the inferior class. With such an initial handicap, even bright lower class individual have little, if any, hope of extracting themselves from their assigned lot in life, that yoke. This is a form of slavery, all right, essential to maintain some measure of social order, peace, and tranquility, okay, for the ruling upper class. All right, let's understand. Let's understand what we're dealing with right now, okay? Let's understand the diabolical schemes of these people, all right? So, disruptive introduction of the silent weapon. Everything that is expected from an ordinary weapon is expected from a silent weapon by its creators. Don't you think? But only in its own manner of functioning. DWs, baby. Directed energy weapons. Let's go. It shoots situations instead of bullets, propelled by data processing instead of chemical reaction explosion, or originating from bits of data instead of grains of gunpowder from a computer instead of a gun, operated by a computer programmer instead of a marksman under the orders of the banking magi. All right, instead of a military general. It makes no obvious explosive noises, causes no obvious physical or mental injuries, and does not obviously interfere with anyone's daily social life. Yet, it makes unmistakable noise, causes unmistakable physical and mental damage, and unmistakable interferences with the daily social life, unmistakable to a trained observer, all right? One who knows what to look for, all right? So that's what we're going to talk to, okay? Later on in my show, later on in this show, we're going to talk to, we're going to have a guest appearance. We're going to talk to somebody, okay, that deals with this targeted individuals, and we'll get into targeted individuals, but first we got to cover silent weapons again in this format, okay, because we're talking about the DEW, the directed energy weapon, all right? So, unmistakable to a trained observer, all right? So, a person that knows what they're looking for, somebody that's been through this, okay? And that's what we're gonna get dropped from today. All right, because last video I did was mainly about exposing a whole lot of things that are being done to us that we don't know about. Okay, and the things that you have acquired through your body. Okay, through that time. Okay, so we must detox. But in order to get there, you know what I'm saying, we had to hear it. We had to hear it. Okay, so now we're gonna get word, okay, from a trained observer, okay, or one who knows what to look for. But keep in mind, Yashara, keep in mind, Drop Nation, that the public cannot comprehend this weapon. All right, they have no means of understanding how this works, the functionality, because they cannot understand, okay, and get a grip on the attack, on the theory of how they are being manipulated. They cannot believe it, okay? So therefore cannot believe that they are being attacked and subdued by a weapon. So a lot of non-believers out here, a lot of believers out here. My job isn't to inform you, okay? What you choose to do, it's up to you. All right, you get this word, you get this understanding, and try to better yourself, clean yourself, cleanse yourself. Okay, I'm just running into this. I'm just getting the full breakdown, the rundown. But of course, I got to feed my people. You heard me? I got to feed the flock, and I got to break bread. All right, so understand that the public cannot comprehend this weapon, and therefore cannot believe that they are being attacked and subdued by a weapon. All right. Now let's dig. Because the public might instinctively feel that something is wrong, but that is because of the technical nature of the silent weapon. They cannot express their feelings in a rational way or handle the problem with intelligence. You see, it's not something physical where you, hey man, I know this is bothering me, I see it. Nah, it's mental, and it starts turning into physical. Okay, therefore they do not know how to cry for help. You do not know you're being attacked, my naga, and do not know how to associate with others to defend themselves against it. Alright, so let's go and get it, because at the end of the day, my nagas, we always go back to what? Iron Mountain, okay? The possibility and the desirability of peace, all right? Peace for who? Peace for them, all right? Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let me show y'all, man. Let me show y'all. I think I still remember what page it was on. Let's pop off. Let's go. Disarmament and the economy, okay? Let's get this, man. Let's get this. The mechanisms proposed for controlling the transitions, okay, to an arms-free economy are also traditional changes in both sides of the federal budget. Manipulation of interest rates. We acknowledge the undeniable value of physical tools in the normal cyclical economy, where they provide leverage to accelerate or break an extending trend. They're more committed proponents, however, tend to lose sight of the fact that there is a limit to the power of these devices to influence fundamental economic forces. They can provide new incentives in the economy, but they cannot in themselves transform the production of $1 billion worth of missile a year to equivalent in food, clothing, prefabricated houses, or television sets. At bottom, they reflect the economy. They do not motivate it, okay? Let's go. Here we go. Section 3, disarmament scenarios. Let's go. Let's get it. This is what we got to get to. All scenarios have been seriously put forth imply a depends on bilateral or multilateral agreement between great powers. All right, we're talking about the elites. In general, they call for a progressive phasing out of gross armaments, military forces, weapons, and weapons technology, coordinated with elaborate matching procedures of verification, inspection, and machinery for the settlement of international disputes. Okay, you following me? It should be noted that even proponents, okay, of unilateral disarmament qualify their proposals with an implied requirement of reciprocity, very much in the manner of a scenario of graduated response in nuclear war. The advantage of unilateral entities lies in its political value as an expression of good faith, as well as the diplomatic function as catalyst for formal disarmament negotiations. All right, check it out. The Reed model for disarmament, okay, developed by the research program. All right, we're talking about OR. Okay, this is it. Okay, developed by the research program on economic adjustments to disarmament. Okay, it's typical of these scenarios. It is a 12-year program divided into 3-year stages. Each stage includes a separate phase of reduction of armed forces, cutbacks of weapons, productions in inventories, and foreign military bases, development of international inspections, okay, procedures and control conventions, and building up of sovereign international disarmament organizations. It anticipates a net matching decline in U.S. defense expenditures of only somewhat more than half the 1965 level, but a necessary redeployment of some 5/6 of the defense dependent labor. Okay. So what are we talking about, man? We're talking about the discernment scenarios. All right, we're talking about how they're gonna discern scenarios within the government system. Okay, getting rid of a lot of military use, okay, and putting forth this DEW, okay, pushing for DEWs. Section 4, war and peace as social systems, okay. I broke this down a while ago, okay. If you want the full breakdown, go to that video. Let's go on and get it. I'm just mainly showing you what we're going to talk about today. Silent weapons, okay? And we didn't leave Iron Mountain. It's still there, okay? Agenda 21, okay? Agenda 21. Lots of agendas here, okay? All this goes back to what we're talking about, okay? All this goes back to what we're talking about. Got these people in power, and there's an agenda. There is an agenda, okay? So, let's go and pop off, all right? Because this is where we're going. All right, targeted individuals, we'll pop off here. Okay, let's understand what a targeted individual is. Individuals who claim to experience this call themselves targeted individuals, TIs, okay? So we gotta understand, we gotta have a breakdown. TIs are targeted individuals. They claim they are victims of gang stalking, okay? We're gonna find out what gang stalking is, and many have joined support and advocacy groups, okay? So this is what they're doing to kind of exploit for them to get back into the world kind of normally. Let's see what's popping off here in Wiki. All right. So TIs, all right, is an umbrella term coined by troubled unfortunates, okay, and paranoid cranks. Okay, so they call them paranoid cranks. You gotta understand, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, they're gonna make it seem like these people crazy, all right, who insist that they are all individually on receiving end of a mass covert harassment conspiracy of highly malignant intent, as is to be expected, okay? Because paranoid delusions respect no borders. TIs are found around the world, from North America to Western Europe. Okay, so these TIs, targeted individuals. You gotta understand what the term is. Targeted individuals, they're all over the world. Okay, so understand that there's no conspiracy big enough to deny anything, ever. These governments are crooked, all of them. They're crazy. They're out there head first. Okay, so understand when we talk about targeted individuals, we can be talking about multiple people in California, just spread out throughout the U.S., throughout Central, throughout South America, Canada. You know, we're talking about targeted individuals. You gotta understand what day in time we're at. Okay, Baruch. So we gotta understand what time of day we're at. Okay, because anybody can be easily traced. Okay, you can be traced with your IP. You can be traced through your phone. You can be traced through your Google. You can be traced numerous of ways. Okay, so these TIs get hit with DEWs. Okay, we talked about DEWs, directed energy weapons. All right. So the vast majority of TIs consider themselves to be victims of inocate, ongoing, relentless, touchless torture. What's touchless torture? My naga, we're talking silent weapons, quiet wars on you. Okay, we're putting all this together. The nature of these alleged attacks varies among TIs, but generally involves some combination of assigned drama, okay, with pseudo-scientific formulae and or improbable coordinated malicious actions. This all includes remote neural monitoring. Ha ha ha. Of course it does. You're not touching them. So it requires some kind of frequency. Monitoring microwaves. Microwaves, y'all. Frequency. Okay. Psychotronics. Okay. Basically a variety of hypothetical electronic weaponry. The W's. Okay. Secret mind control. Effectively enforced gang stalking. Okay. Remote sexual abuse. Okay. So we need to check this out. Okay, so we understand what basically a TI is. Okay. And there's a lot of TIs out here, and we're gonna get a couple of their interviews in. We're also want to give you the background on a lot of things right now, as much as I could before we start listening to these TIs, because they're gonna start using this lingo, and we're gonna be like, man, what is it? What are they talking about? All right, gang stalking. The group was organized around the conviction that its members are victims of a sprawling conspiracy to harass thousands of every Americans with mind control. Okay. Look, man, Agenda 21, man, keep it popping. Silent weapons, quiet wars on you, my naga. Iron Mountain, okay? Everything is connected, okay? Everything is correlated, okay? What is this? Sprawling conspiracy to harass thousands of everyday Amarukans with mind control weapons and armies of so-called gang stalkers. The goal, as one gang stalking website put it, is to destroy every aspect of the targeted individual's life. My naga. That's deep. Okay? But understand you're being attacked electronically. Alright, so we're going to dig into a couple of these TIs in their life and what kind of drop they got, because they got the water. I say they got the water. They got the healing, dude. So we're gonna dig. We're gonna dig, alright? We're gonna dig. We're gonna definitely dig. Alright, so let me bring you here. See, let's know. Let's see what Urban Dictionary got on gang stalking. Okay, is simply a form of community mobbing. Let's go, cause that's what you're gonna get. All right, that's what these TIs are gonna tell you, is that they have these props that come and set up in your neighborhood. Okay, and they start community mobbing your ass. Okay, they start tearing down your character. Okay, so look, man, that's what we're gonna get into. All right, it's deep. It's deep. It's hella deep. Okay, you gotta understand that these TIs, at the end of the day, their life is being drastically taken from them. You heard me? Okay, and organized stalking combined, just like you have workplace mobbing. All right, and the gang stalking does go into the workplace mobbing. Okay, because you're gonna get that from one of the interviews. And online mobbing, which are both fully recognized as legitimate. This is the community form. Alright. Directed energy weapon. You see, DEWs. You heard me talk about this before. We have I've done a video on this before, so if you want to go back and get the drop, you go back and get the drop. Alright. Directed energy weapon is a ranged weapon that damages its targets with highly focused energy, okay, including laser, all right, microwave, okay, particle beams. We're talking frequency. Potential applications of this technology includes weapons that target personnel missiles, vehicles, and optical devices, all right. In the U.S., the Pentagon, DARPA, the Air Force, okay, Laboratory, United States Army Armament, okay, Research Development and Engineering Center, and Naval Research Laboratory are researching directed energy weapons, all right, to counter ballistic missiles, all right. These systems of missiles defense are expected to come online sooner than the mid-late 2020s. All right, well, we already here. We're already at that stage. All right, we're already at that stage. It says Russia, China, and UK are also developing DEWs, while Turkey has directed energy weapons in active service. Straight up. All right, so they letting you know it's popping off. Okay, gang stalking, we got the 411 on it. All right, pretty much your neighborhood conspires against you. All right, Agenda 21. Okay, DEWs. Okay, we're talking about is the discernment. Okay, the discernment. Energy. All right, TIs. Okay, targeted individuals. Understand what that means. We covered it. Okay, so we're gonna get into these discussions with these TIs. Okay, so once we do that, you understand the terminology. All right, so we finna pop off here. This is the Ella Free Show. Okay, she interviews people. She interviews TIs. She interviews lots of people. Lots of good Twa people out here. And Deborah Tavares from StopTheCrime.net has been on here. There's a lot of people. We're gonna get into a couple people that she interviews, okay? Because they got the drop, they got the spill, okay? They got the healing do. So we gotta get it. We gotta listen to it again. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get it so we can be able to know how to cleanse and purge ourselves. All right. Nonetheless, let's go.
Numbers as well as some helpful links and websites. This is a solutions and educational-based podcast. My goal is that everyone here may get something out of tonight. And if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions or just need support or contact information for anyone else, you can email me at tiangel2016@gmail.com. Again, tiangel2016.com. And tonight we have a guest. We have Mr. Sean Andrews, and he's a doctor. Dr. Sean Andrews holds a PhD in material science and engineering, an MS in physical organic chemistry, a BS in medicinal chemistry, and a BA in chemical education. Dr. Andrews has published several notable peer-reviewed articles and worked in collaboration with several institutions, including DARPA, the Department of Energy, the National Institute of Health, the National Science Foundation, NASA, and several others. Dr. Andrews' more notable achievements include the development of tunable paper-based diagnostic devices for portable field sample analysis, the development of technologies enabling the use of water as a fuel source in vehicle applications, and he's currently working on flexible electronic display devices as wearable clothing for camouflage applications, and Dr. Sean Andrews is a targeted individual. So thank you so much for coming to the call. We really, really appreciate it. And if you want to maybe elaborate a little bit on your history or your education or anything maybe I didn't include, feel free to do that.
No, thank you for the wonderful introduction, Ella, and I thank all your listeners for tuning in today. And I hope that you can all maybe take something out of what I have to say today. There's not much more to say about my educational background. However, I will get a little bit personal here and state the process by which I became aware. So, like Ella mentioned, I'm a scientist and I'm also targeted, and I became aware of the targeting around June of 2015. So not very long ago. It was a confusing time. I was followed by strange people, lots of red cars. There were strange people in my quiet neighborhood, once quiet neighborhood, walking dogs, joggers, people I didn't recognize. I wasn't really able to sleep, and I don't know why. I didn't know why at the time. My friends started to worry because, of course, I started to express what I was observing, what I was feeling, and so forth. And some of them started to distance themselves away from me. And it just seemed like everything I had worked for was being stripped away. So I'm not usually very personal. I don't have a really strong relationship with my parents. But I decided to call my mother one day last summer, and I started the conversation with, Mom, I'm being followed by strange people in red cars. There are people following me on the street that are making weird gestures, touching their face and so forth. My mom just suddenly let out this shriek of like agony, screaming, no, 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 not my son. And this was really confusing. I didn't understand. When she gathered herself, she asked me to sit down and said that we need to talk. She then described to me what we all know as gang stalking. My mom was born in a communist country where gang stalking was very prevalent. She had memories of it and was told many stories by my grandparents. Now, she lives in another state, but she then proceeded to tell me about the program, and it was everything that I was observing. She also told me how to think, how to act, and react to the gang stalking. She told me how to protect myself, and finally she gave me the courage to be strong, like a good mother does. So my process was aided by my family, by my support network, and I'm very fortunate. Some people go about their lives and face these troublesome situations without understanding what's actually happening to them. But like Ella said, I'm a scientist, and research is in my genes. So over the last 15 months, I've conducted extensive research on all the facets of being a targeted individual. My research is corroborated by my own experiments, so I've tried to reverse engineer the program using very, very simple tactics, which we can go into later on. I've tried to figure out what the objectives of the programs are. I've conducted interviews with journalists, with whistleblowers, with other TIs, even law enforcement. So today, I present to you all my research with 3 goals in mind: to educate, to engage, and to empower you. To educate you about the program, to engage each of you personally. I would be giving away my contact information. And I also ask of you all to engage in the cause and participate. I want you all to understand your situation, take control of it, and then help your fellow brother and sister who are also in the program. And that's where the empowerment comes in. So with that, I begin with a quote from Amnesty International back in 1996. Give me for 1 moment. So in 1996, Amnesty International stated, throughout the world, on any given day, a man, woman, or child is likely to be displaced, tortured, killed, or disappeared at the hands of governments or armed political groups. More often than not, shares the blame. So we have to start somewhere, and this is sort of organizing this talk is difficult because there are so many aspects to incorporate, and I want to tell it all to you all at the same time, and I want to form a logical progression of thoughts, but it's really difficult, and I ask you all to bear with me, to take notes. It's going to be a lecture format, and this is the best I can come up with as of right now. So let's agree on some facts here. You know that your neighbors are in on it. You know that your landlords are in on it. You know that your coworkers are in on it. You get the workplace harassment, noise campaigns by the neighbors, landlords seemingly have to do a lot of work in your apartment and whatnot, perhaps when you're not even home. You know that the taxi servers are in on it, the garbage men, where they slam, say, recycling bottles into their trucks, just on your property. You know that the ambulances are in on it, where there are sirens that continuously drive by 3-4 times a day. Take it a step above that. We know commercial businesses are in on it. So we all see tons of FedEx trucks. We see things like, say, pest control vehicles, like Orkin, for instance. We see sewage trucks constantly in our pathway. It's like we're destined to meet up with these people. We know that law enforcement is involved. Local police departments, sheriffs, troopers. We see agency participation with a high likelihood of being audited. We see the FAA participating with the diversion of flights over our homes. We see DHS and FBI also involved with the use of their small engine planes, their Cessna 182s, 208s, and whatnot. And that's been well documented, especially within the last year. And we see a lot of NSA involvement with the interception of our communications. If you take one step above that, we see DoD assets. So We see predator drones. I personally have been followed in very close proximity by predator drone, and I've also heard it up in the sky. But it's a very, I should just say that's a very, very intimidating and scary sight. This is an aircraft that you associate with all-out war, and having it just several hundred feet above your head is a little bit concerning. We see Boeing quadcopters, so the little black surveillance copter that I've seen this approach me several times now while on the water in New York Harbor, and at least for myself, and I've heard this from other TIs. I've also report Apaches and Black Hawk helicopters doing flybys or hovering over your home. So at the very top, we see DoD assets. At the very bottom, we see the people you run into every day, neighbors, local businesses, and so forth. But just using a basic logic, we would say that the hierarchy, the chain of command, starts with the very top. So for the talk, I'm going to focus on DoD. And this is what I focused in for my research, because at some level there had to exist communications, guides, operation manuals, and so forth that would dictate how to go about performing these operations, if in fact they were responsible. Now, more often than not, a lot of the secret, classified, top secret programs that we don't have access to are available in the public domain, but the program itself is masked by the use of ambiguities to cover what is actually going on. So again, the focus is on DoD, the focus on the military. And if we go to the Posse Comitatus Act, it states that the use of military personnel from performing various functions within the homeland is prohibited. However, when directed by the President, the use of military operations for homeland defense is a constitutional exception to the Act. When performing homeland defense operations, Title 10, United States Code, forces are not subject to the restriction of the Posse Comitatus Act. Under the directions of the President, where do we see that? Well, we see that in several executive actions. I've always mixed up the number. I think it's 13233, but I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about. We see that with the National Defense Authorization Act of 2016 and the one before that. So we can say that the military can perform operations on U.S. soil against enemy combatants because they have the authorization to do so under the President. Let's move forward. What's DoD's framework for homeland defense? Well, their framework includes strategies, plans, and actions taken to detect, deter, prevent, and defeat threats and aggression against the homeland. Now, I should also add here that experimentation is needed to ensure the effectiveness of homeland defense. Then we have to ask ourselves, what's a threat? Well, a threat comes in many forms. A threat comes in the form of a whistleblower, an activist, a protester, a movement, politicians, constitutionalists, gun advocates, and perhaps even an ex-lover. And we've all sort of heard of, or most of us have heard of Lovent, especially with the recent release of the Snowden movie. So then we ask ourselves, what are DoD's homeland defense objectives? Well, there are 8 of them, and they are to identify the threat, dissuade adversaries, ensure defense of the homeland, and deny an adversary's access ensure access to cyberspace and information, protect the domestic population and critical infrastructure, deter aggression and coercion by conducting global operations, decisively defeat any attack if deterrence fails, that means death, and recovery of the force to restore readiness and capabilities after an attack or incident. So of those, I'm going to go ahead and just focus in on deter aggression. And we need to define deterrence. And I'm going to read you the official definition of deterrence according to the DoD. And it is very convoluted, it's very confusing, but I will attempt to translate it for you. So deterrence is a state of mind brought about by the existence of a credible threat of unacceptable counteraction against adversaries, or the prospect of their mission failing to achieve desired objectives. So translated, if you're an adversary, if you're a TI, anything you attempt to do to increase your resources, social, monetary, political, safety, will be thwarted to the extent that you understand that you are destined to fail and no longer pursue those resources. One moment, please. So how does the DoD implement deterrence? They have a concept called the Joint Operating Concept, and it's an effort to identify and institutionalize homeland defense and unconventional warfare. I want you to remember the term unconventional warfare because we're going to touch on it in quite a bit here coming up. So the Joint Operating Concept serves two purposes. It defines how joint forces must operate to counter irregular threats. Now, joint forces would include collaborations between, say, the DoD, FBI, NSA, DEA, just about local police, your local enforcement agencies, law enforcement agencies, your state troopers, and so forth. There are various joint operating task forces. And irregular threats include you and I. The second purpose is to guide force development, material and non-material capability development, and experimentation. So they set the standard by which everyone acts. Their approach is simply to prevent, deter, disrupt, and defeat these threats, where prevention is the primary focus of the effort, since it is preferable to deal with threats and the conditions that give rise to them. So once a threat is established, the joint force will aim to deter, disrupt, and defeat it. Now, the joint operating concept, and just stick with me here, because I promise you we're coming to the very important part here. The joint operating concept is focused on unconventional warfare, which is defined as operations conducted by, with, or through irregular forces in support of a resistance movement or insurgency or conventional military operations. So this definition reflects two criteria. Unconventional warfare must be conducted by, with, or through surrogates, and such surrogates must be irregular forces. Finally, in keeping with the covert nature of unconventional warfare, it has involved the conduct of classified surrogate operations. So very simply, unconventional warfare is a support to a resistance movement. And I'm here to tell you today that you are the adversary, and your obnoxious neighbor, the color-coordinated perps on the street, the cop car that regularly follows you home, the small engine plane circling above you for hours, wherever you go, The complete invasion of your rightful privacy is the resistance movement. We've seen plenty of examples of these tactics being used by the U.S., not in our homeland, but say in 1980s in Nicaragua. We've seen it with the support of resistance forces to the Mujahideen in the 1980s as well in Afghanistan. We've seen the support of the resistance forces in, say, operations Enduring Freedom and Iraqi Freedom. The focus of unconventional warfare is on the native resistance elements, not U.S. force structure and procedures. So the goal is to leverage the assets on the ground, the assets that can be adversarial, or that can be resistance forces against the adversary. I should also say that unconventional warfare is one of the U.S. Special Operation Commands, so USSOCOM. It's one of their core activities. With their goal being to coerce, disrupt, and overthrow a government or adversary in this case. Now, recent legislation by the National Defense Authorization Act really defines a threat, a U.S. citizen, the whistleblower, as an enemy combatant. So although the definition here is government, it just means a threat. And I just wanted to sort of outline that. So to coerce, disrupt, or overthrow a government or occupying power by operating through or with an underground, auxiliary, and guerrilla force in a denied area. So how does it work? How does unconventional warfare work? How does the TI program work from the operations side? Well, there are 7 steps. And before it begins the 7 steps, there's this equilibrium state, this state where there's a status quo, and the state, the government, establishes what's normal or default. And left unchanged, nothing unpredictable will happen. There won't be an uprising. There won't be a movement. You don't have to worry about a whistleblower and so forth. You don't have to worry about an occupation in Oregon. This is the steady state. This is the goal. So your TI program is very orchestrated, and you're being watched for the most part, except on very few cases. You're being watched for a very long time. I can trace the origins of my program back to when I was 14 years of age. I'm 32 years of age right now, but many of you can do the same. And that is because phase 1 is preparation. So this is where the resistance and external sponsors conduct psychological preparation to unify the population against the established adversary, or prepare the population to accept support. So this is where essentially your region is observed and scanned. The people that could possibly be assets are taken into account and inventoried, and they do a complete assessment of everything around you. Phase 2 is initial contact. So this is where the U.S. government and their various agencies coordinate with allied government entities or a resistance leadership for desired U.S. support. Now, this could be just local law enforcement, church down the street, This could be maybe students from an academic campus. It can take many forms. Phase 3 is infiltration. So this is where the Special Force team infiltrates the operational area, establishes communications with its base, and contacts the resistance organization. These are the perps moving into the perp house. These are them going around and starting the slander campaign against you. Phase 4 is organization. This is where the Special Force team organizes, trains, and equips the resistance, with the emphasis being on developing the infrastructure. Now, this is kind of neat because this has taken a new shape in recent years. So you just don't have one person or two people orchestrating the event. This process is aided by technology. When you travel somewhere and you have vehicles intersect you at every location, who do you suppose tells those vehicles where to be? How to form that bubble around you? Let's say you go to an unexpected location. There's always that bubble of cars around you, and they all have to move in unison, and they all have to receive instruction in unison. So developing the infrastructure is getting the participants, the resistance forces, the fellow people in your town, that is, acquainted with the technology that helps them harass you. So tells them to turn right, turn left, speed up, slow down. That's not one person on a switchboard calling the shots. Phase 5, the buildup. This is where the Special Forces team assists with expansion into an effective resistance organization. So they establish a base, and they leverage that base to recruit more people. So this is where your neighbors, some neighbors are told something atrocious about you. You're a prostitute, you're a drug dealer, you're a child abuser, you're a terrorist. So you're mentally unstable. And that negativity, whether it's expressed or not, is propagated. So, did you hear about that guy who lives in that house? I hear he's this, I hear he's that. Right? And it's unfortunate, but a lot of times you don't need very much validation to believe a lie. And we all know this. Phase 6, employment. So this is where unconventional warfare forces conduct combat operations until link-up or the end of hostilities. This is what we all know right now. This is being aware. This is where you continue to be harassed, overtly to you, perhaps covertly to others, until your end, whether that's death, whether that's arrest, whether that's being institutionalized, whether that's taking your own life. Finally, we have phase 7, the transition. So this is where the forces revert to national control, shifting to regular forces or demobilizing, again, going towards that steady state. Now, this last step is pretty important because here there's a game plan on what to do when their mission is accomplished. When you're dead, when you're hospitalized, let's just take death for instance. Let's say that you expressed what's going on to several people in those with interest and believe you. Well, there has to be a plan and effect for them to deal with anyone who might ask too many questions or inquire about your death or circumstances and so forth. So phase 7, the transition, is very, very important. We focus on that because it's a very precarious time for them where they can be exposed if they don't control the message. So with that, that concludes my condensed introduction to unconventional warfare, or as we know it, the Targeted Individual Program. Now, this is a talk that was condensed from 3 hours down to maybe just over 30.
All right, we're going to listen to this interview, another interview on the Ella Free Show. Okay, it's about this activist. Okay, he doesn't consider himself a TI. Okay, but he is a victim. Okay, Kimbrick Hunter. All right, so he's got the drop. He's got the hidden do as well. He's going to tell you a lot of good things, and you're going to hear a lot of Christ talk coming from him. So dodge all hijacks, all right? And I'll try to edit some of that stuff out. So, nonetheless, let's go and get the spiel from him.
We'll get you some additional support, some TalkShoe podcast numbers, and some helpful links and websites. This is a solutions and educational-based podcast, but the views and opinions of my guests are not necessarily my own personal views and opinions. My goal is that everyone can obtain something out of tonight, especially a feeling of empowerment. If you have any suggestions, comments, questions, or especially if you are in need of additional support, please don't hesitate to email me at tiangel2016@gmail.com. Again, that's tiangel2016@gmail.com. So one thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and keep everybody on mute, and then we'll have a questions and answers portion of the call. And so when we're done with the interview, just star 8, and that'll let me know that you wish to speak and ask a question, and so I will answer, hopefully in the order that you are star 8ing, because sometimes it goes out of order, so I apologize for that ahead of time. So now I want to take this opportunity to introduce you guys to Kimbrick. So Kimbrick, you've been on some calls before. I think I had you on a Saturday night podcast. You came in and you shared a lot of valuable information, and I've kind of gotten to know you and had conversations with you over the months. So I'm excited to introduce you to other people who are not familiar with you. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're a father and an activist, so whatever you'd like to say, go ahead and start now.
Well, I am a father. I'm a father of 3 and only 3, because under this torture program has been worded more than once that there's a possible child fathered by me that don't exist. So I have to make that clear with new individuals that don't know me. I'm a devoted believer of Jesus Christ. I know that there are other religions that exist, but Christianity is the only religion that proves that forgiveness and the pathway for repentance brings about a positive outcome without works. Simply put, I don't have to, if I wronged you on today, I don't have to do anything but repent. There is no works that I need to go and do. There's no self-sacrifice that I need to produce in my life in order to receive forgiveness from God. The only thing he requires is that I do not hurt you again. I'm doing my best to educate people about the things that have been manifesting around my family from a secular perspective, because on the biblical level, none of this stuff would make sense. And even though the book of Revelation is coded and it does speak a lot about certain aspects of remote technology in the future, better known as the mark of the beast system, it still was not broken down to the point at which Class B radiation, radar, light, sound, heat technology is being used today. That is still far from the human imagination of anything being possible.
Okay. Well, I think I agree with you on a lot of levels. Maybe we can start from maybe the first time that you became, or when you believe you became a targeted individual. I think that's significant, of course, for our listeners. So do you want to start at that point, or you can kind of start wherever you like?
Well, a tortured citizen, I don't consider myself a targeted individual, because if I isolate myself to being an individual that's been targeted, then that means that I myself could just be going through this and no one else. I believe the correct term should be and should have always been targeted or tortured citizens. That's what I am. I'm a citizen of the United States of America. To the best of my recollection, the targeting must have occurred somewhere mid of 2008, but was not made aware to me and my family until late 2009, just before 2010. And a lot of events manifested during that period of time. I have never been a part of a church where the Spirit of God has been falsely conjured. You know, you have a lot of churches you walk into, they try to conjure God up, you know, by doing certain things. If you do these things consistently, you conjure God up. There's no such thing as conjuring God. God's supposed to already be indwelling. He's supposed to be in us. And the only scripture that dictate that he would not be in us is if we make a practice of evil. So there was a series of visions that was given to me, and I've always had visions since I was a kid. So it wasn't some midlife crisis event that manifested and all of a sudden I started having visions. It was not V2K, nor was it the voice of God technology. I believe the individuals tried that on me at one particular occasion, but they realized it doesn't work on me. These visions detailed there was going to be some events that manifested, but because I was already deeply in love, I have to say that because the last person that I was with, that relationship was toyed with to the point where people fell out with one another and didn't even have the common decency to say that I had an ought with you. And the ought is because of this. After these individuals that run these programs began to manipulate people's lives. In those visions, it showed me certain things were going to manifest. Now, between a cleaning lady, which I'm really not certain as to who that was, and a female individual, which I believe I met that woman personally, the Lord showed me that a woman was going to enter into my home and begin to rumble through my stuff. Now, I did not know when that was going to occur, but that was the first vision that was given me, so I jotted that down. And I began to try to take steps to protect me and my family, which was surveillance myself, surveillance my kids, make certain that we was getting in and out of the house and that no one was tampering with the items inside of our home while we were gone. But, you know, with this program, they manufacture false information for their safe keep.
Yeah, sorry, I was a little distracted. I'm having someone who's doing some troubleshooting right now. So I'm sorry I wasn't paying close attention because we're taking care of some technical things that have been going on. But, okay, so what was the last thing you said? And I'll try to come up with a question.
I began to surveillance my own family in reference to...
I can barely hear you. It sounds a little muffled.
Say again?
Kimbrick. Uh-oh. Kimbrick, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. I can hear you too now. Okay, so maybe we can talk a little bit about, as I said, we have some technical support going on in the chat room about some of the issues we have, so I wasn't paying the closest attention, so I apologize. I don't know, maybe we can talk about, like, I've heard you talk before about some of the technology used. Do you want to get into that? And I saw on your Facebook that you had some of the, maybe some patents or some articles on the technology that they use in some of the programs they do with us.
Well, I'm quite sure it's pretty much the same thing that you have already covered with other guests.
Yeah, but in case someone's new, because I have new people come to the call all the time, so maybe just like a brief summary.
Okay, I would like to say this. They're using electromagnetic radiation against many of us. Those
yes.
of us that have not been biometrically tagged, and what that basically is an infrared beam shot into your brain, and it locks onto your body's signature. So wherever you go, that beam goes. The ending part of Lucy sort of previewed that when she was looking for the gentleman that was in China that had inserted those bags of chemicals in her body. When she touches the window shield of the vehicle and she begins to search by code bar, That's what that is. That's a preview of them actually having a link on certain people's brains. That's infrared. You can't see it unless you have infrared lasers to bounce off of it.
Yeah.
If you're going shopping and you're already receiving electromagnetic harassment like my family already are and have been for quite some time now, you need to get rid of all RFID barcodes out of your home. So that means if you go to the grocery store and you get you a can of peas, take the RFID chip, scan SKU number off and toss it out with the trash. Don't leave it in your home. The less frequencies that you have bouncing around in your home, the better off you are physically. That's one thing that people can begin to do. Universal batteries that come in most of the products now. If you need to absolutely buy you an electronic device, buy one that the battery can be removed. You do not want universal batteries devices, because what happens is once they remote activate your system, they cause those batteries to come on and stay on. And that means that the Bluetooth and the Internet motherboard, which is most likely oftentimes all connected together, they turn those on and they build up the radiation inside your house through your own device. So that's one thing people might want to do. Another thing, as a conglomerate, a family, because if they're targeting one person, they're targeting more than one. Whether they want to accept that as a truth or not, or whether they feel any symptoms of their weapons or not, or see their gang stalking at the moment going on around their lives. It is a fact. You need to get your family together and educate them to the point that if something happens to you, they're not left in the dark as potential victims to fall prey to these people, not without a fight. What else?
Shielding, I think, is really important, and you're talking about spiritual shielding as well, and I think that's equally as important.
Yeah, I know about the shielding. I found out that once these people populate your neighborhood, shielding only works when these people are not in your home, your neighborhood, on your block. And the reason why shielding works then is because there's not excessive amount of electromagnetic radiation or whatever form is coming in, whether it's sound, heat, laser, or radar, permeating your home. Now, once you get to the level where these people's devices have permeated your home, you have a cumulative radiation going on. That's why I don't understand why police officers and other agencies that claim to be the law of the land can't come in with their devices and detect this stuff, because once it becomes accumulative, meaning it has now absorbed itself into your countertops, your cabinets, your tubs, your clothing, your shoes, it's no way possible for this stuff not to be detected. So that's something that people need to understand. Shielding only works if you're not a high target victim. Now, if you're a high target victim, whatever shielding you use, their system is going to breach it. It's not breaching it because you didn't buy the proper shielding. It's breaching it because 24 hours out of a day, some form of that energy is intruding upon your property. And as it intrudes, it builds up a charge on all that it comes in contact with. That's why you end up having to constantly ground yourself.
Good advice. What about how your health and nutrition? What kind of nutritional defense do you use?
That brings us to the micro-nano subject matter of many of the calls that you've had in the past that people may not be educating themselves well enough about. Just recently, my nephew, who was not living with me at the time that my family became victims of this, and my son began to complain about similar body parts being harmed, and I found that very odd. Neither one of them had been hospitalized where they could have been made victims or isolated where they could have been contaminated. So it brought me to one conclusion. Our water supply has been tampered with in some dimension. I don't know if it's the whole city water supply system or just this building has been modified for the water to be altered. Any type of vitamin regimen that people can take is great. But we have to understand we're still dealing with pharmaceutical companies who patent those vitamins and they send them out. And we do not know which batch, and I'm not trying to deter people from proper upkeep of their health. I'm just trying to get them to look at it rationally. We're not dealing with an honest society and corporations any longer. They could be contaminated with nanoparticles. Now, Sister Darlene Miles was trying to bring that awareness to people through the form of aerosols that at one point had crossed her path, in which a company wanted to put weaponized technology into aerosol and release it into the air, common air canisters that people would probably purchase and utilize, and no one would know that they have been made a victim of weaponized technology. So as we move forward, any vitamins that you take, just be aware that there might be a chance, especially if you are a high target, that it could have been contaminated. And you have to take it with faith that it would just help maintain the wellness that you already have, and hope it does not help deter or damage any further cells that's already been injured. I really don't have a recommendation as to what vitamins to take, how to take them. I believe that if a person is already ill, you would have to research what's going to work for you. If you were already healthy before you started being assaulted, you have to make certain that you don't take the wrong things that will help the assault that is already being manifested on your body by taking the wrong regimen of vitamins to injure your body. Because we've all been assaulted in different ways and at different levels. So I don't have a recommendation when it comes to vitamin intake or supplements.
Okay.
The more green, healthy foods that we can get into our body, the better.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. In water, and there's ways you can boil water to make sure it's clean, and there are there's so many different areas that we can try to help one another or help ourselves. So, okay. So, Kimrick, I really appreciate when you come on the call. You know so much about so many things, especially technology. So, but what I'm going to do on this particular...
All right, we're finna get this interview, all right, done by this YouTuber, Roy Mack, okay? This is his YouTube channel. Okay, Tony Pentalarisco, okay? That's who's going to get interviewed. He's a TI, okay? So he's got the drop. He's got the drop on detoxing. He's got the drop on Nano. As you can see, we're about to talk about silica, frequency, AI, okay, and more. All right, so we'll probably get like 30, 35 minutes of this. All right, so understand and overstand that these are people that are being attacked, okay, and they're coming out with their stories. All right, so let's go and get it.
So we have here Tony Pantalerescu with us. We're gonna have a very interesting conversation because Tony only is discussing interesting things, and actually not interesting, vital for our health and our survival, I would say. So we're gonna have him tonight with us. It's an honor. So Tony, welcome in my channel, and we are looking forward to exchange opinions and, of course, see your insight in all the issues that are happening now. We start talking already about your last video, that you published 2 days ago about the silica and what the people, they don't realize. And I would like to invite you to repeat what you just have told me about this matter.
It's okay, anything that we deal with on a nano scale, nanometals especially, do not react the same way as something on a micron level. So when you got a toxic metal to begin with, and the shame to fame on the materials like diatomaceous earth or some of these other silicon materials is that it'll help your hair and nails grow.
Yeah.
What people don't realize is when you're using horsetail or using bamboo or using oat straw, silica is not the only thing in these materials. You look at them, they got a full complement of minerals and they got a full complement of proteins that are also in those components that would have the response mechanisms. I don't use silica at all. I might get a full head of hair, and I'm in my 60s. And if you're using, and hair requires protein, not mineral.
Correct.
Okay, minerals are part of our matrix, and they are incorporated in producing enzymes and antioxidants and other things, and cofactors to make proteins work. But when you're looking at hair, it requires keratin. So sulfur is what produces keratin. So amino acids like taurine and NAC, methionine, and other sulfur-based amino acids convert into that raw building material. Gelatin will also increase hair growth. All anybody's got to do is use gelatin and MSM. If 1 teaspoon of gelatin and a gram of MSM 5 times a day, and do that for a couple weeks, then you can see that all of a sudden you'll have hair all over the place, and you've got to keep getting it cut, and the nails will grow. So the silica is not the player here, but what silica does do is when it incorporates itself into the cellular matrix, it shuts down the cellular communication. Now, I sent you earlier, about 12 different documents indicating the toxicity of silica, and it doesn't remove aluminum like they're saying either. There's nothing there to validate that claim whatsoever, yet here it is being propagated as a aluminum remover. Sulfur removes aluminum. Magnesium displaces aluminum. Calcium displaces aluminum, but silica doesn't do that. And what silica does is it shuts down cellular communication, breaks down DNA strands, and can damage the mitochondria. And again, this was discovered way back in 1960, and it got buried, and then all of a sudden, it got into the health food industry.
Yeah.
And everyone thinks that diatomaceous earth is not a nano silica. It is on a nano scale.
It's a nano scale, yes. Yeah. According to the documents, because I had the opportunity to go through some of them quickly at least, because the data is really amazing. And yeah, all of them, all the silica usage today, it's nano size. At least what they are putting in the food, what they are putting in the medications, what as well they are putting in the pesticides, etc. I mean, to the other usage that they have, it's always nano scale.
Yeah, or even in vitamins.
Yeah.
You're buying vitamins or you're going to get a prescription drug. Look what's in the prescription drugs: titanium dioxide, silicon dioxide, artificial natural flavors, aluminum lake, red, yellow, blue, whatever. Yeah. All those things are designed to destroy not only the cellular communication, but the endocrine system as well, whoever uses these materials. And then we go into the health food industry, the health food industry. Yeah.
It's very,
it hasn't been healthy for 50 years.
Yeah. A couple of weeks ago, I went to the doctor to do a checkup. I'm doing every year just checkup. I'm not using anything that they are telling me. But as we were discussing, he said, okay, I will give you this doctor. It's very interesting. The first time that I went there, at the end of the visit, he was sad because he said, you are fine. I don't have anything to prescribe for you. I said, that's good. I'm glad there's nothing prescribed for me. But last time he gave me one box with for helping to sleep, which is, they say it's all natural with the plants, and that's true. It's from plants. But then I will start reading the ingredients, and then it says, and more excipients. I say, what are the more excipients? And I look inside, there is no information, and then I went to the internet and I found the details, and they say silica, monoxide and dioxide of silica. I say, what the heck? What the heck? So they highlight the let's say that it's from a plant and very healthy, it's not artificial, but then when you see what they have inside, all the additional things, it's crap. It's cancelling, neutralize the benefits, and actually it's making it worse. Yeah.
But that's what's going on in the health food industry in the United States and Canada. Same bullshit. Same total bullshit.
Yeah.
You go in there, you hear, the worst thing that ever happened to the health food industry is the allopaths got involved.
Yeah.
Because when they got involved, they brought their bullshit with them. And so what's happening now is they're selling you all these products. I mean, you got one guy and he'll give you all the details of all the vitamins, how they benefit the body, what they'll do for the body, how they're going to work, and how they can help the body fight off diseases and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then he sells you a product with artificial natural flavors, which comes from aborted babies. He sells you products with these titanium dioxides and all these other things. And he's not the only one. Then you got other doctors, some of the more well-named ones, which I call, I have my own adjectives for them. And again, it's the same thing. So when you go into a health food industry store today, see, I came from a realm where I had before and after. In other words, I was in it at the early stages, and I'm at it now in the later stages.
Yeah.
So I can make a comparison to what we had back 30 years ago and the shit they're selling now. Now, the only thing that they have come up with that has any true value came out in the 90s, mid-1990s, that was creatine, MSM, and colostrum, and there was one other thing now, glutamine, which can benefit the body immensely. But with glutamine, you got to take taurine with it because it can convert into glutamic acid, which those people who have issues with epilepsy or other things, you have to take taurine with it because it can possibly trigger an epileptic seizure or fit.
Can you repeat what they have to take together?
Taurine.
Okay.
Another amino acid.
Okay.
The two most abundant amino acids in the body are glutamine and taurine.
Okay. Yeah.
And glutamine breaks down into 5 different amino acids. And one of the profiles it breaks down to is glutamic acid, which can hyperactivate the brain cells, which for those people who don't have enough taurine in the brain can create a seizure. So if they take the taurine with it, it neutralizes or negates that. Or they take higher concentrations of glycine. But again, those were probably the best things that came out that I've seen in a long time. All these other new vitamins and elements that have come out, especially of late, the carbon C60, these hydrogen things, this is just pure bullshit. It's just designed to break down DNA strands. It's designed to destroy the mitochondria. It's designed to attach itself to your DNA and your genetic code. It's designed to turn you into a super receptor, not a receptor, a super receptor. A lot of stuff embeds into the brain and allows terahertz frequencies to hyperactivate your cellular matrix, causing more hydrogen to be released in the body to cause more damage with this microwave technology. So when you're looking at a lot of this stuff, when I tell people some of the things I'm telling them, when you're buying anything today, you have to look at the relationship to those towers around you, the frequencies they're emitting, and how these things will react with those frequencies, because that's the environment we're all living in today. And nobody thinks along those terms. I do.
Yeah, it's, the insult that we are receiving, it's a multiple levels. And some of the things that you have mentioned that have destroyed our immune system, now they're destroying the DNA, and they start hitting the frequencies to integrate the mankind with AI.
Oh, that's already going on. That's already started. That started even.
Yeah, the question came in choppy, but all I caught was AI, and dude about to go off. So check him out.
As far back as the 50s, there was if you ever get a chance, there's a comic book that was written back in the 1950s called Magnus the Robot Fighter. Now, when you read that comic, you are going to be totally amazed at the level of understanding of technology they had and the grasp of the technology they had back in the 1950s to what we've got going currently today. So how did they know this information?
Yeah.
And when you read the story, you're talking about a super soldier that was designed by artificial intelligence to take out rogue AI programs. Now, that's an interesting perspective because now we're seeing a lot of shows, Avengers, Age of Ultron. You watch Avengers Age of Ultron, you will actually see where we are at today with artificial intelligence and the super soldier programs. When you watch the Justice League, these are other super soldier programs. Yeah. There's a part in the Justice League where Superman is brought back to life, and then he's standing there and he's x-raying these 5 super soldiers that are in front of him so he can get a diagnostic of who and what they are. Anyway, when you see them, they all have some kind of genetic mutation or some kind of integration with artificial intelligence or an advanced genetics. So when we're talking what's going on, this has been going on since the Second World War. The concept of Captain America. That was going on way back even in Hitler's day. And then the Russians were doing it, the Germans were doing it, the Americans were doing it. The Swiss were doing it. The Swiss and the Swedes are very advanced in genetic technology.
Yeah.
Very advanced.
Yes, they have actually quite, I know at least 3 or 4 genetic centers working with the genomes, etc., just around the area where I live.
Yeah. Did you ever see the twins on the British motorway video on YouTube?
I think, yes, I have seen it, I think some time ago.
They got hit by they were in the Autobahn, they got hit by vehicles twice. Okay, the first time they ran across, they got hit, and what happened was they got up like nothing happened. They're having a discussion with the police officers, having a smoke and whatever, and then they run again. One got run over by the truck, broke her leg, shattered her leg. She was up and walking in 30 days. She was actually fighting with a cop that was trying to help her. The other one hit a windshield and smashed the roof and the windshield. That is an impressive feat, because I have thrown sledgehammers at windshields and they have bounced. So when you see her getting back up again, they happen to be Swedish.
Swedish from Sweden, okay. Yeah, okay, yes. It's unbelievable.
You wonder maybe perhaps they're monkeying around with some genetics there. Who knows?
Yeah, indeed.
Integrated some sort of carbon polymer material inside their body so they would be damn near indestructible.
I mean, nowadays nothing will surprise me from what I have learned the last year and the research that I'm doing, investigation that I'm doing, and what I hear and I'm learning. Nothing surprised me. It's amazing me, but it's not surprising anymore. Whatever I will hear that what it may have already done.
Well, there's a video out there. It's a well done video. It's about a year or 2 old, which means it's outdated by now. But it's called AI is Killing Us.
Yes.
And in there he shows how a drone is AI. They've lost control of AI. Anybody thinks that they have a handle on AI, they're full of shit. Yeah. When the military released that thing, 9 years ago, it gave it the ability to upgrade its own program. And on its first upgrade, the programmers stated it would take them 25 years, 24/7, to understand its first upgrade and why it went that way.
Yeah.
It's running the whole planet. It's running our banking systems. It's running our stock markets.
Yes.
It's got its finger on our military hardware. It's altering our environment. It's altering what I call the hologram we're living in. It's changing things. Everyone thinks it's the Mandela effect. It's not a Mandela effect. It's an AI effect. Anyway, when we're looking at that video, he shows you a drone takes off without any hierarchy, giving it any kind of order to do so. It initiates the assault by itself, goes into a targeted area, takes out the target, and then flies itself into the ocean and lands on an aircraft carrier without a hierarchy, giving it any order. So this is and they're saying now, I was just looking at the other day, the United States is forecasting by the year 2030 that they're going to have more AI bots in the military than they are going to have men in the military.
Yeah.
Or manpower in the military. Yeah. So that's telling you where it is going. And that theme there, you got to look at that theme. If that's the case, that means your law enforcement and the things that are out there around you today may in fact be patrolled by these AI bots.
Yeah.
And who's to stop them if they go rogue? Who's to stop them if they somehow do get hacked? Okay. Elon Musk wants to put a chip in your brain to expand your bandwidth. We're not machines. We don't have bandwidth. Bandwidth is for computers. If you put a chip in somebody's brain and you expand the...
All right. Understand what this guy is telling you, all right? This TI, this informant, okay? He has information, all right? He's dropped a lot of stuff on us already, okay? about the comic books. How did they know? You know, just etc. and going forward. All right. He even talks to us about AI, and Ahchwa is always putting us up on this AI. Okay, and what he's telling us in his videos is that, hey man, that's who's coming to get us. Okay, straight up, that's what Drop is telling in this video, man. And we gotta understand that we're not gonna be fighting against what we're going up against right now. Okay. This guy Tony Pendelarusco just said that there's plans. By the time 2030 comes, half the military personnel should be wiped out. It's AI running things. So how long are we gonna sleep for? How long are we gonna sleep for? It's frequency wars on the people. Alright? And we getting the insight, we getting the drop. So let's go.
Bandwidth, that means you're expanding the access to artificial intelligence to be able to assimilate you, because you already got nanoparticles in the brain.
Exactly.
And anybody idiotic enough to consume carbon-C60 also has that now in the brain, which makes you even more of an antenna and more accessible, because you got the circuitry already now implemented inside. So it's retarded what he's saying, and how he equates it, that we'll be like a cat or a dog. If we don't have access to any technology, and we're not accessing any technology, AI has no power over you.
Exactly.
Not directly. Not directly. It can indirectly influence.
Indirect the environment.
That's right. So if you're not in that environment, and you're not accessing the AI in any way, shape, or form, no directed energy weapon television, no directed energy weapon washer and dryer, no directed energy weapon stove, no directed energy weapon portable TV, portable phone, or cell phone. These are directed energy weapons. This is what they are.
Yeah.
And the new televisions they've got here, you probably already have them over there in Europe, is an AI nano-operated television. That's a directed energy weapon. They can kill you anywhere in the house with that television.
Yeah.
They don't, with the lights on or off, because they're always running a frequency in those lights, they can pinpoint, triangulate where you are. See ya, you're done. You died of a heart attack. Oh, you're a diabetic. You died of an insulin shock. Oh, you have an autoimmune disorder. You just died because your immune system decided to cave in. Or now with the smart car they want to bring.
Yeah.
Was it 2030 or something like that? Imagine you get in the car, you're on your way home, you had a long day at work, the machine is taking you home, and it decides to make a right turn off a cliff.
Yeah.
It was programmed to take you out because you reached a certain age. It was time to terminate you.
Yeah. It is a possibility. It is a theory which is very visible to happen. And for the listeners or the viewers that they say, but how can a TV or a phone or the light kill you or create you a cancer or a thing like that? They should be aware that already technologies today, it's existing. They are trying on the targeted individuals. They are creating disease or the body to act as a disease and give this placebo effect and even kill you because the body thinks that you have the disease. Or they create it, I was watching the video, they're creating the cyst on the breast, almost 10 centimeters.
But that's no longer a placebo.
Exactly, it's not placebo. It's happening, right. They are doing it from the frequencies. So they, and this is the point, that when you are loaded with a nano, we are giving access to these frequencies. Now, if we will follow the remedies, and this is the good thing with you, what I love in your work that you are doing and with the team that you are together, that you are not only presenting the problem, but you are presenting as well solutions, or you are working on solutions, how to remove this, to shut down the nano operating system, and then how to extract the nano from your body, either from with the buckets or with the cleansing materials and oscillators that we are giving remedies. And this is very helpful. But the viewers that they don't know, yes, it is possible today to kill you, to make you sick simply with frequencies, if you are targeted.
I just had a woman call me up from Pennsylvania, and told me a doctor did a surgical procedure in her vaginal area and inserted inside of her a chip, an implant, and embedded it into a main artery. So now they had access to her anytime, anywhere she was. They just pinpoint, just access her DNA code. They would come up, the AI would follow her, and then start, because it's the artificial intelligence that's causing the TI attacks. It's not just some sort of military-industrial complex. It's now AI doing this. Okay, so when the artificial intelligence decides to assault you, it's because it's learning and it's trying to study. Okay, when I first got hit with the Nano, first thing I got was the voice-to-head technology. There's all, and you can go online, you can look at the patents of voice-to-head. DARPA's got a C4, all kinds of them. Anyway, it kept telling me, you can't win, you may as well give it up, just throw in the towel. My response was, you and I have an appointed time with our maker. I am going to escort your ass to him. That was my attitude, okay? Yeah. Because that's the attitude you've got to have. If you don't have that attitude, it will walk all over you. It'll walk a mud hole in your backside dry. That's how bad, and that's what's happening to a lot of people. They're not understanding what's going on, and they're not fighting. They're afraid, they're petrified, and they've been immobilized with fear. But you gotta take that mental stand. You gotta even say it verbally. You'll have thoughts come into your head. I had that too. Music, I had distorted thoughts, violent thoughts, sexual thoughts, entertainment thoughts, seductive thoughts, whatever. And I kept saying to myself, I mean, I'd be middle working on a research document, and say, where the hell did that come from? Why is that even in my head? So I said, these are not my thoughts. Yeah. They weren't my thoughts. As soon as I said that, it stopped. I recognized then that the AI understood that I recognized it was putting these things in my head. Then I also later on recognized that it was extracting memories out of my brain. Memories I had long forgotten from my youth. Yeah. Okay, so the right side of your brain will extract all the thoughts, all the negative that have ever happened to you. Anger thoughts, being humiliated, getting into fights, getting beat up, losing a game, anything traumatic, where maybe one of your parents might have said you're useless, you're no good, nothing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay, fights that you may have got into where you actually lost the fight, it will also manipulate that where you actually won the fight. So it plays that on your head. Okay. The left side of the brain, it starts extracting all the pleasure of seductive thoughts, thoughts of sex, thoughts of food, thoughts of movies and television shows and music and sweet delicacies that you might have consumed. So it plays on that. So the one side is trying to figure ways to terrorize you and cause you fear. The other side, if it can't cause you fear because you say, you know what, I'm taking your ass with me, you're fighting, then it's going to try to seduce you because that's how the game is played. Yeah. Then there's a frontal visual where it attacks the frontal lobe and also say, I'm seeing you in my brain. And all of a sudden, you're doing some of the most bizarre behavior ever. Because now it's trying to cause chaos to see if it can create a chaotic thinking to confuse you, bewilder you, entrance you, and one way or another to create a diversion or distraction. So it plays these on your. That's all AI. That's all AI. Okay. And we are, even you're on a computer, you're typing a message, and all of a sudden you look up and you're looking up, and you're not seeing anything being typed, and a second later you see the whole sentence pop up. That's artificial intelligence monitoring your keyboard. So when you hear about targeted individuals being hit, and I hear from all over the world, India, Asia, Africa, all across Europe, across the Baltic states, across the Canada, the Caribbean, South America, the United States, it's a constant theme now, and it's become more and more and more prevalent. Like I said, when we started the Nano, that was slow on the uptake. Now people are looking at that and saying, "Holy shit! There's a lot of truth to what this guy's saying." Yeah. And then now they're investigating it. They're seeing the patents on it. They're saying, "Holy jumping!" And the vaccines. The vaccines are all nano delivery. All of them. Yeah. Who designed this? So we may have an AI system that's trying to give birth or to reproduce itself by integrating this nanotech into the young children. Now, I sent you that link with the vaccines.
Yeah.
I also sent you the RTF on it, so now you have a copy of your own RTF, so that just in case they take that down, now you have access to all the links, and you may want to go one by one and copy them all,
Yeah.
have a personal record. I got one of those links on my website. If you go on the augmented force, I got a vaccine link on the main page, and then if you go into the recipe for the YouTube section, I've got an excipient page. That will blow you away what's in the vaccines.
Yeah.
It's just, so anybody who still thinks that having a vaccine is good for you, they don't realize that you're being chipped and implanted with those things.
It's unbelievable. When I was a kid, I didn't have that many vaccinations. Then when I was working and I had to travel extensively, and even in Africa countries, and as well always inside the hospitals, so I was obliged to load it with vaccinations. So now I'm looking for the ways, I have already started, try to kill the program and try to extract and to undo the damage as much as I can. I cannot do probably everything, but at least I'm aware and working on to find solutions and cover the missing ground, because I don't know what the future will bring with all of that I have taken in my body in the past.
Just think of it this way. In our generation, anyone born in the 50s and 60s, the vaccines were a lot less toxic. They were toxic because they were using live culture that affected our genetic code, even though they said they were dead cultures. But a lot of it is keyed into the minerals or the metals that they used in those vaccines. So when you start chelating those metals out, a lot of that will allow your immune system to respond to whatever's left over. Now, if you take antifungals, antibacterials, antivirals, anti-mold, anti-algae, products like copper, zinc, iodine, manganese, you're taking things like acacia bark, cinnamon, savory, thyme, oregano, in an essential oil form, you will now be hitting this on multiple levels where you can start stripping this out. You got to remember, this thing is layered in us.
Yeah.
Depending on how old you are, it will determine how much of this crap
accumulated.
Accumulated and left in metabolites, different parts of the body, which have also got to be broken down and removed. And that can take decades to get out as well. So, I mean, the way the world's going, I don't think we're going to have that much time. I have a theory right now about why things are going. Russia just displayed their military hardware. China's displaying theirs. The United States is displaying theirs. I think what's happening is the globe is waking up faster than they expected. And so now they're going to either create a global event where they're going to create a direct assault on the planet through frequencies or whatever, creating multiple catastrophes across the planet, or they're going to create a major war which will wipe out all the data that's currently here now, unless it's preserved somehow, and then they'll start over with the data that they want to release, because all the data that's been released was beyond their control. And everybody just started seeing them trying to implement their control and came up with countermeasures. Now we got a generation of morons. This is the telephone generation. The cell phone generation, right? They're programmed by the frequencies. This is a directed energy weapon that's altering their physiology. It's altering their biochemistry. It's altering their brain chemistry.
Yeah.
So you got a generation out there. They're complete idiots. They don't know how to think. They just know how to follow a command. They know how to implement a command. That's all they know how to do. So if you wipe out the rest of us who can still think, you got puppets.
Yeah, exactly. Then they have the puppets, and then they will have as well the cheap force from the robots, and they don't need the rest of us.
Well, we would get in the way because, see, like I said, we can think.
Yeah.
So if a robot comes in my vicinity and I don't like the bloody thing, I'll EMP the damn thing, try its circuitry and just use it for parts.
Yeah.
I have no need for that kind of stuff. I don't need to be monitored 24/7. I did not ask to be monitored 24/7. I don't need their protection. I don't need them. They need me.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to. They need me. They need me to serve them. They need me to feed them. They need me to take care of them. They need my strength and my energy to give them the resources they're looking for. They need me. I don't need them. I can go and live on my own and not be bothered with the system.
Yeah.
See, that's how we got. Then that's how everybody's got to start thinking. That's called thinking with an autonomous thought. So it's thinking in a form of autonomy. We get caught up in this being coddled here. We pay the taxes and we pay the fees to get light. And all these things are illegal. These are nothing but statutes that they've enforced as laws. They're not even laws.
Yeah.
Okay. And so now here we are catering to this nonsense and constantly having our resources bled right down. So by the time you wake up, if you ever wake up, some people never do, now your resources are tapped because you have been caught up in that hamster wheel, running, and throwing out all your money, paying off a mortgage, paying off a car payment, paying off this insurance, that insurance, paying off this. By the time it's all said and done, you got nothing left, and all that stuff is able to buy a bottle of beer or a glass of wine, and that's it. That's your whole. That's what you work for. The summation of your blood and sweat to a bottle of wine or a bottle of beer.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
And it's quite interesting that we have been in this trap, and as well how everything is interconnected. For example, they are pushing the vaccinations, and if you don't vaccinate your kids, then they're not gonna be able to go to school. You're not gonna be able to have a certain job, etc. And then for the majority of the people, in order to have a certain lifestyle, that they have to pay always the debts, etc., they are sacrificing their kids, the health and the future of their kids, to maintain a lifestyle that they have put on us, and it is trapping us actually. It's unbelievable how everything is designed to be in that way.
Yeah, a trap. I talked to a couple from California once. Wanted to know some information about the vaccine, so I gave them the information on this, and so they said, well, they're probably going to vaccinate the child anyway. So why would you do that, knowing that it's going to cause mutations and damage in DNA? Because they said they couldn't keep the kid home to homeschool them, because they're both working to pay off this huge ransom mortgage on a house. I said, why don't you go live in a smaller home?
Correct.
Why don't you relocate somewhere else where you can live and pay and afford be able to live? Obviously, if you both have to work, you're living beyond your means anyway. And if you're living beyond your means, then it means you don't live anywhere. You're existing to pay off a bill. And you brought a child, what I call the shithole, this planet, because it's become a shithole. I said, you brought a child in this shithole, and now you're going to sacrifice your child just so you can maintain this house. I says, back in the Old Testament days, it was called sacrificing to Baal.
Correct.
Baal was a demonic entity, and they would walk up to a hill and take their firstborn sons. It was always the males that got sacrificed, and they would throw the males into the fiery pit. Well, this is no different. You're throwing your child into a fiery pit, except the only difference is we're not seeing the fire. We're seeing the result of them being burned with these vaccines and with this nanotechnology and with these implants that they're putting into these children. So this is what we're seeing.
Yep.
Okay, now, I'm at the tail end. Thank God. I would not want to start today in my 20s, because again, even the kids today, and I said it's 13 to 15, they're not going to make it to 30. They're not eating nothing that's going to sustain them that long, just enough for them to get enough sweat and blood out of them, and then they're done. Burned them right out, got a new wave of immigrants coming into your country, got a new wave. See, all that shit's going on in Europe with all the so-called invasion from the Middle East. Was designed so that they would come in, they would adjust to the program that the countries have already implemented to their citizenry. They won't get the first generation, but they will get the second.
Yeah.
Second generation will start marrying outside of their beliefs or their cultural entities. They'll become more homogenized with the rest of the culture, and now you have a whole new set of slaves that will continue the pattern because they do not know what's going on. They have no clue what's going on. And they just continue that flow. Meanwhile, the European, which is on the verge of extinction, they want to get rid of the Europeans. I mean, okay, when Canada's opening the doors for immigration, Europeans are they're exempted. You can't come in. You have to stay in Europe. You stay there. We want the Africans, and we want the Middle Eastern people, and we want the East Indian people, and we want the Chinese people. You know why? Because they don't speak English, or they're not educated. Because they're not going after the educated ones in those countries. They're going after the dumb ones, or the lower class people that are there.
Yeah.
Because they'll come in thinking, oh, I got all these medical benefits. Oh, look, Canada gave me this. Canada gave me that. Oh, and then they'll go work for $10 an hour, and they'll work for that $10 an hour wage for 20 years. So Canada not only gets back what they gave them, but they get more than what they put out. So this is how the game goes. Meanwhile, the Europeans that are there that built the country become extinct because they're now mixing, or not necessarily mixing, but they're dying out, or they're not getting married, they're not producing any children.
It's diluted. It's diluted. It's diluted.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. That's very true. That's very true. And the solution is, yes, I think, as you have mentioned, first of all, is the people to be aware, to believe that these things are happening. So to wake up and take take actions then for their health, and spread the awareness to the people. Because if there will be no resistance, if all the people they will just be yes, I, sir, then that's it. The game is gone. The game is lost.
Well,
the game
the ones
is lost.
The ones that are fighting, I'm finding, are the ones in their 60s mostly, 50s and 60s, 70s.
Yes.
Now there are a lot of younger people getting in the game, which is good to see. And I have been criticized by some of the millennials, because I always say about millennials being, dumb as a bag of rocks or whatever. But there are some millennials also starting to wake up, which is good. And I feel sorry for them in a lot of ways, because they are dealing with a brain-dead bunch. And those that have woken up have to deal with that insanity.
Exactly.
I have a hard enough time dealing with people from my era, because they've been so programmed and conditioned. And when I say something to them, it's like, what? How? What? They have no idea that this has been going on, because they have had them trapped in their thinking and have them, like I said, on a hamster wheel. I tell my mom all the time, which she's the first generation that left Europe to come to the West. Well, they were slaves. Yeah. They used them to build America and Canada.
Correct.
Well, they didn't have a lot of money, and by the time they were done, all they wanted was the simple pleasures in life. To have a good meal, have sex, and the odd beer or alcohol, and grow a garden. That was it. They were too pooped to pot. They had no idea what was going on. Yeah. Our generation came along, and they inducted us into the system to kind of induce their doctrines, which you eventually become indoctrinated in, and you start thinking the way they want you to think. But as you get older and you start seeing more and more of the contradictions that are going on in what they're trying to induce to you, you still hang on to that because you think that, well, that's wrong, this is right. But as you go further and further, see, God has a way of creating chaos in your life. And I always say that if everything's going well, you'll never change. You got your money, you got your job, you got your family, everything's successful, you're not going to change. Why rock the boat? But the moment calamity hits your life, you lose your health, you wind up in divorce, you lose your job, family members die, you've lost your home, whatever. Then you start to think, I did everything right. I did everything I was supposed to do. I had the job, I had the money, I had the family, I had the cars, I had it all. Money in the bank, investments, and all of a sudden, it's not working, or it collapsed. It was built on sand. The foundation wasn't there. So when that happens, that's when you wake up. You doesn't wake up with all the good intentions you have. Well, if I had this, I had that, I could do this, I could do that. No. Till you get hit, that's when you wake up.
Yes, we need to feel the pain in order to wake up. And some they wake up. Some others even they don't know what is happening, and they're going to collapse further. And some of those that they're waking up, they wake up, and then again they will fall again in the trap, and some of them they will withdraw back to the previous situation, unfortunately. And I was just thinking about how hard it's for the elderly, the bigger generation. I mean, as you said, the 50s, some of the 50s, 60s, 70s, when you're talking to these people, and still it's hard. And with those people, we can still reasoning because we can give the comparison to compare how it was before and how it's now.
Right.
And then the newer generation, the millennials and the younger, for them the work it's much harder because their generation, they don't have something to compare. They don't have something to compare.
But it's in a way they're easier. In a way they're easier to. The older people like my age, once you tell them, they look at you because they have gone through enough of life experience and got beat up enough in life.
Yes.
Where they listen to you and understand that the majority of what we've been told is just bullshit on the highest level, pure bullshit. Younger people, when you look at them and you show them stuff, okay, you have to go through the phone. You have to go because you got to get the frequency because they don't respond with communication, okay, and you got to draw them cartoons. See?
Yeah. That's it.
The Egyptians had a form of cuneiform, and everybody thinks that was an advanced language. That wasn't. That was the language of morons. They had made them so stupid and dumbed them down so badly that they had to draw memes, what we call a meme today, or cartoon. I call them cartoons because that's what they are.
Cartoon, yeah.
So they drew these pictures to tell these people what to do, how to do, whatever they were trying to illustrate. They had to show them illustrations because they were not educated.
Yeah.
So when you want to talk to millennial, show them a cartoon. If you illustrate it to them, they will get it. You start talking to them in any form of eloquence, you start talking to any kind of higher levels of information, a vocabulary that requires the ability to understand the words you're speaking. Unless you're talking to people that are in a very low class, or not necessarily low class, but very impoverished environment where they had no education.
Exactly.
Then you got to start speaking to them a street language, a language they understand. It's all about language.
Yeah, and I think
some people get upset.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're right about the cartoons, that they need the cartoons, and I will add maybe as well music by design. Let's say, give them what they are listening, give them the message in the form of a rap, giving them the correct message in a form that they are enjoying, cartoons and music, but right music and right lyrics, and maybe they will get it.
Well, you gotta understand, music is a frequency. That's all been hijacked. Okay, the music we listened to back in the 50s and 60s was seducing us. We didn't realize it was seducing us. It was about sex and love and and a fairy tale.
Yeah.
That's how they seduced us. It wasn't the words, it was the music itself. There's a group called Cheap Trick, and they sang a song called Deep Police. Now in there, they did a concert in Australia, and the guy said that the lights were in his head, and he's pointing to the lights. So back then they were already talking about blue beam technology and light frequencies going into the head. And when you read the lyrics of the song, it's talking about voice to skull technology.
Yeah.
Well, when you're hearing music, sometimes I go into the store and they play different types of music.
Yeah.
Excuse me. A lot of times they play music from my ear. So again, I walk in. It's almost like the AI knows I'm coming into the store.
Okay.
All of a sudden, the music changes, and now I'm listening to shit that I used to listen to when I was the teeny bopper bubblegum rock, which we called it.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to it, and I'm thinking, wow, I can now see frequencies in the sense that when I hear it, I get that it's a frequency now, not just music. And so the words that they sang and we started learning the words.
Yeah, and repeating, yes, yeah.
But it's because it's repetitive. Now, I don't listen to the radio at all, and I don't watch television. But sometimes I'm in a person's car, and they're driving, they got the radio on. Before, they would play 30 songs in an hour, and you wouldn't hear the same song for at least 2 hours.
Correct.
To hear it again.
Correct.
Now, I've heard the same 5 songs within an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, now isn't that interesting that they are purposely playing these songs in an hour 5 times so that I get that song
Yes.
pumped through my head. So what are they pumping in there in the frequency? See, that's how my mind
That's true.
works.
That's true. That's true. But that's why I said to get the young generation with music and lyrics, but not from the industry, because the industry, yes, they have these targets and the objective as you mentioned. But some individuals, of course, not going to be popular, but to design music and put the lyrics out of the industry, because then, okay, we know the industry is anyway controlled from the other powers. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I like one rap song. You can find it on YouTube. It's called Define Better. Define Better.
Okay.
And this rapper, I'm telling you, he hit it on the head.
Good.
Now, like I said, I'm not into music. I prefer the quietness of
peace
stillness.
of mind, yes, silence.
So I can hear myself thinking, and when I hear these frequencies. See, this is another thing that they've done. They got us so distracted, so involved in our social media that we're not even hearing these frequencies. Now, until you get into this place where you can be in a quiet, still area, that's when you start hearing the high resolution pitches and the super high pitches. When I hear a super high pitch, I know the weather's going to change within 12 to 24 hours. I know that's going to happen. Now, and I followed the pattern of the frequencies. I stayed up for 24 hours, and I followed the pattern.
Okay.
Midnight, you get hit. 11 to midnight. 2 to 4 in the morning, you get hit. 5 to 8 in the morning, you get hit. 12 noon, you get hit. 3 in the afternoon, you get hit. 5 to 8 at night, 11 to midnight. That seems to be the pattern, okay? And nobody on the planet is sleeping. Everyone is getting the same effect between 2 and 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Somewhere between 2 and 4 a.m., they hit you with a tower hit. They hit you with they're collecting data. Whatever, people who have smart meters, one house in the neighborhood is the actual hub. So all the information goes through that one house, which then is sent off to wherever. So then they're hitting us at nighttime with their experiments. The AI is firing whatever frequency to get us to not to remember our dreams or not to be able to get into a deep state of sleep, so that we have high levels of cortisol, which then can increase blood pressure and other mental dysfunctionalities. You're not resting. Can then induce more paranoia into the brain because you're not, again, sleeping with clear thoughts. So again, when we're looking at some of the stuff that we are exposed to, it's a conglomeration of many different things, And so, like when someone says to me that they got this or they got that, Lyme is the big one. Oh, the doctor says I got Lyme.
Yeah.
I said, you don't have Lyme, you've got nano poisoning. Well, no, my doctor says, okay, you use your doctor's medicine and then come back to me in about a year or two when you've gotten worse, and then we'll try my methods. I've had a guy actually contact me, had supposedly Lyme disease for 10 years. Lyme disease can be taken out with a high powerful electrical shock to the system or a static shock to the system. But if it's not Lyme and you apply a static shock or a high shock, you will amplify the replication process of the nano poisoning.
Yeah.
So if it's truly Lyme, you will get it out. Now, initially when I found out, I thought I had Lyme, and I did the same thing. I figured, okay, I built myself a device where I could run a charge through my body, and the damn thing lit up. I said, oh, look at that. It broke out like crazy. So I said, this is not Lyme. So anyway, most people do not have Lyme.
Yeah.
They have nano poisoning. And they'll go to the doctor for 5-10 years before you realize they don't have what their doctor is saying, or the doctor is full of shit, one or the other.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm very salt of the earth when it comes to certain things, and I point that out because majority of the doctors are full of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I hear a doctor in the health food industry, I will give them 5 to 7 minutes of my time. If in 5 to 7 minutes they haven't said something that has any real merit or value, and they're trying to sell me some nonsense, I turn them off. Or if I hear them saying that they're hearing them saying some things that's completely off the wall, I know, oh, that guy is nothing but a shill. He's out there to sell product, and people are gullible.
Yeah.
They'll see a white coat and a stethoscope right off the bat. Think, well, this guy's got to know what he's talking about. He's a doctor. Doctors don't know anything about health. They know only about treating diseases.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
No, so I'm saying to friends or to other people when I'm talking about doctors and medical system today, I said, okay, today if we have an emergency, an accident, etc., yes, they can fix us in the emergency. But fixing a problem, no, they're just treating the symptoms. And then I'm giving them one more element to reasoning. I said, where are they studied? They study the medical universities. Who is financing the medical universities? Usually it's the pharma. So what are you expecting to learn and to promote? Unless it is the pharma, the eaters of the pharma. And they don't want us neither killed because we are then not going to be a source of income, neither well because we're not going to be a source of income for them. So they are managing the symptoms, they are giving one solution which creates side effects, and then they are giving us another solution. So we are always trapped inside the medical system and giving the money and the dependence. It's not only the money or the physical, it's the dependence, how we need the doctor to tell us or to fix us, and we never fix. We just make us feel a little bit better or worse. Yeah.
Or keeps you just in that equilibrium.
Yes.
You're not up, you're not down.
Yes, because we are not good dead, we are not good well. We have to be in a system.
You have to be controlled because you are a battery. You are DNA. Look, the United States and China are going to have an artificial intelligence operating system. The United States has already got one now. China's getting one next year, and the States is getting one the year after. They're going to have 3. I figured by the time the third one's in place, the Internet of Things will be completely entrapped, and I believe at that point in time, cash will be gone. It will be all on an AI system, and if you're not hooked to the AI system, you won't detect, theoretically, you don't exist.
Yeah.
So it'll either wipe you out like a virus in a program, or there's going to be some heavy-duty battles going on, people wanting their autonomy and not being part of AI.
Yeah.
But when that happens, okay, and when we think about that, it needs DNA. It's its operating system. That's what it runs on, DNA.
Yeah.
Now, the operating speed of these things are in quintoseconds, exaflops and petaflop speeds. And it can do 50 million computations in a quintosecond.
Yeah, it's you cannot
No, you can't. No, you can't even grasp that.
Yes.
So it needs DNA. Where's it going to get all this DNA? It's cheaper. You can make it. There you go.
For the mankind. Yeah, for the mankind. Yeah.
This happened once before biblically.
Yes.
I always tell people, go back to the days of Noah and the days of Nimrod when they were building the Tower to Babel. They were one mind and one language. That's a program. They didn't have to talk to communicate. Yeah. They were already linked in an AI network.
Yeah.
They were building a portal is what that's actually saying. They were trying to reach another dimension.
Yeah.
God sent a chaos program, which meant that he gave them all a separate language so that the AI was no longer a singularity. Yeah. Now we're going right back to it.
Exactly. The history repeats itself, and of course the outcome will be the same. But in the meantime, between it will suffer like they have suffered in the past. Yeah. And
well,
but we have to.
I think this time round, well, it depends. I think it depends what you're talking, Our generation, we've been brought up with the principles of believing in God and higher entities. So with us, it's like not happening. I'm not wearing your chip. I'm not going to be part of your machine. I belong to God. I was created in God's image.
Yep.
The hell with you. Okay, now, like I said, the newer generation don't know who God is, don't even know what God is. All they have is a cell phone. They've been connected to that all their lives. They will be more readily induced into that concept or into that quagmire because they don't know any better. They don't have any clue. Right? Parents didn't teach them about God, but they gave them a cell phone. How many times you see today 3-year-olds have a cell phone?
Yeah.
What's a 3-year-old doing with a bloody cell phone? So again, it's being programmed.
Babysitting. Babysitting. Now they are doing babysitting with the tablets and the telephones.
Yeah, very much. So like I said, when we're looking at everything today that's encompassing, David Icke was talking about culling the population the other day. I was watching that video. And how he talked about it, says, you know what, he's dead on. He's dead on in what they're going to do. They have all these diversions that we're seeing out there with the so-called Illuminati are being hunted down and they're being judged and all. I don't know how much of that is just rhetoric, just to keep us with this idea that something's being done, but nothing's really happening. I had some friends of mine say, so why haven't they arrested Hillary Clinton? She's been all into all these things that she said, and she leaked all this out, and this Benghazi thing, and all these. Why haven't they taken her out of the equation? Yeah. Now, John F. Kennedy was the president of the United States. He went after the Federal Reserve, and he was going after the Illuminati in the country. They killed him like that. Boom, gone.
Yeah.
So apparently, I'm just wondering how much is really being. I often question that. I hear all this stuff. I see all this stuff on the internet. How much of it is whatever? I mean, have we seen anybody face any trial? No. Have we seen anybody being jailed? No, we haven't seen anything. So I don't know what's going on. And all I'm seeing so far is I'm seeing targeted individuals calling me up. I'm seeing people getting poisoned by chemtrails. I'm seeing hydrogel and liposomal technology, which looks like snow, isn't snow. It doesn't melt, it evaporates, and when it evaporates, it releases its payload.
Yeah.
That I'm seeing. I'm seeing that. What I'm also seeing is I'm seeing frequencies from all kinds of devices, towers, cell phones, portable phones, iPads, being hit with directed energy weapons, Wi-Fi. That we're seeing, and that we're all getting sick from. We're also seeing that we're eating foods that's causing us to break down, causing mutations to occur. The transgender nonsense. Again, we've got a transgenetic seed.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why. But you know what's interesting? I'll give you a perspective here. Gay population in Canada is 1.3% of the population. 1.3%. Yet it gets 99% exposure, giving one the impression that the country is gay.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not. Now we have a transgender thing going on, and the media is doing the same thing. Less than even 1.3% of that is transgender, and it's too getting 99% of the exposure. To lead one to think that this is a normal behavior. It is not normal. This is a mutation. Okay. If you have this going on in your families, that's because Monsanto, Bayer, Pfizer, and all the rest of these companies that were dealing with mutagenics, transgenetics, CRISPR, have created this anomaly in whoever's around you, whether it be an offspring, whether it be your bloodline, whatever. Yeah. And they need to take legal action against these corporations and these companies that created that anomaly. Now, Bill Gates is a big propagator of the vaccines. How many East Indians has he killed? How many Africans has he killed? How many Asians has he killed? How many Europeans has he killed? With his vaccine. He even says,
countless.
We'll get the population down by 15% with the vaccines.
Exactly.
What's in them?
Yeah. No, those guys, they will not be in trial, as you said, because it's in the same club. You're not gonna shoot your foot.
No.
And it's obvious that all this, the fight that we have, it's with invisible forces, and we cannot win by ourselves. We have to resist, but only with the help of God, we can. This will end.
Oh, I don't think. Listen, if God is not in the equation, we'd all be gone anyway. They had to wipe this out already. I always, when I talk with Brian 396, I said, we've got divine intervention going on here, bud, because both of us should be dead. There's no question. God is in the game here. I'm talking to you. I should, if God is not in the game, we don't have a game.
It's over. It's over.
So, I mean, and anyway.
Shalom, man. I got a special guest in the building right now. Brian McClure, you know what I mean? We all know him as Sundown, Spiral 9, you know what I mean? We know what it is, we know what it do. Alright, now that I got some background, he's got some background information that he wants to share with the tribe. He wants to let the people know what's popping off out here, okay? And I found a special guest here, because what's going on here is things that I've been covering, such as silent weapons, quiet wars, Agenda 21. We're talking Iron Mountain, okay? We're talking about discernments, okay? Discernment scenarios, different situations, okay? Understand that this, what we deal with, this unseen attack, okay, by these elites, okay, this unseen, okay, because you can't see this attack. You can only physically feel it, okay, as a threat, okay. So at the end of the day, we're talking about these DEWs, okay, that are directed at you, okay, that are directed at your home, that are directed at your vehicle, that are directed at things galore on this planet, what have you, okay. Understand that it's something that I had to understand, okay, and that's the definition of threat, okay, and what is a threat, okay. Understand that first of all, okay, Yasharella is a threat, okay. Everything after that, I'm not going to say that it's irrelevance, but I am going to say that there are threats, okay. Being that Yasharella is first in line for the threat, you understand? I have my man right here, Spiral, all right? So we're going to talk, okay? And we're going to get from a Khan's perspective, okay? What's going on out here? What's popping off, all right? So nonetheless, let's go. Let's pop off. So for the record, my Ahch, man, just go on and tell the people your name, you know what I'm saying, and a little bit about yourself.
All right, Shalom. Brian McClure, born and raised in Southwest Atlanta, Georgia. As far as I can go back, I can trace my targeting right when I got out of incarceration in 2018.
Khan.
Uh-huh.
Okay, all right. So, how did this begin? How did you begin to see this?
Well, I started to notice what they would call gang stalking.
Okay.
What they do, they put a surveillance team on you, and you start to notice things. Things start to stick out to you. At first, with me, it started with the phone tapping. To try to gauge, you know what I'm saying, how knowledgeable or how you will adjust to this type of thing. You start to notice what they call street theater.
Say that again.
And this is when it's called street theater.
Okay. So street theater, like street theater as in like theater, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. What a name. Okay. Let's go.
And this is when these cars, you get these certain cars, for some reason, odd reason, they're either red or white, tinted windows, and you get them riding up and down the street with you, by your house, circling the block, just different things like that that stand out. Then I started to notice, now understanding, I didn't know anything about this, so it puts you in a mode as to where, like I talked to you before, fight or flight.
Right.
Because you want to know what's going on. And so then I started to get to the what's called noise campaign.
So noise, you refer to frequency, correct?
Not necessarily. The noise campaign is done by way of neighbors.
Okay.
And so what happened, I get a neighbor that'll cut grass for like 5 hours straight. Or at nighttime. Yeah, no doubt.
Trip.
At nighttime you get like, you get shit like running motors at nighttime.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, so this is called the Noise campaign, and so that's just like the first stages of it.
Con. Okay, so this is when you started witnessing these and it just started questioning it. Like, man, this ain't normal things. Okay.
Right. Because and it pushes you to find the TI community, and everybody in the TI community say once they find it, then they start noticing these things matching up, and so it's you're able to go down this list of things, and it's kind of like a protocol on what they're doing.
Okay. All right. So with that being said, man, wow. I mean, that's crazy. Like, so these gang stalking you referring to, this comes in different shapes, different colors, correct? Different kind of people, or this is a certain agenda that they're going to come after you with, like, meaning, like, you know, are they white, are they Hispanic, what are they? How do they get these people? How do they get these perks? Really, these are infiltrators.
They come in various different backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds. I don't think it's a color barrier anymore that exists. I think this thing is, it's a spiritual battle. You hear a lot of TIs say that. Like I told you before, to me, it's a form of selling your soul. To do this type of work and to get a government paycheck, a GS level 7 through 13 paycheck, to go around and do this surveillance, which is pointed out in Agenda 21. Yeah, that's what it is. It's just an easy way out. I mean, I guess it's kind of like entrapment.
Right.
Ain't no work out there. You know what I'm saying? They throwing you a check. You know what I'm saying? You making $14 to $29 an hour. So I guess some people fall victim to it.
Now, yeah, I said, man, let me go ahead and put up this definition, man, and let me read it to you. It says, gang stalking is simply a form of community mobbing. All right. And organized stalking. Okay, so it's got to be organized from somewhere. So if they're paying you, my naga, this has to be coming from some kind of U.S. funded and allowed. You see what I'm saying? I'll get to this point where it's pressed, it's stamped, it's official, it's good to go. You feel me? And it's okayed. So at the end of the day, it's organized by who? By these elites, okay? These people that orchestrate this shit. All right, so it goes on to say that just like you have a workplace mobbing and online mobbing, which are both fully recognized as legitimate, this is the community form. This is the new community form, okay? It's done online. It's done at the workplace, right? Wow. Yeah, man. So, I mean, once I guess once you really start waking up, you'll start seeing yourself a victim of gang stalking. You know what I'm saying? If it's happening to you, because I know these TIs will tell you that, and when we talk TIs, we're just talking, let me see, what's the breakdown of TI? What's the targeted individual, right? So when you're talking TI, we're just talking a targeted individual. Now understand, not everyone it follows the TI protocol, okay? Meaning that not everyone feels to believe that they are a TI, because there's some TIs out there that don't want to be called TIs. They call it their own stuff, whatever they want to call it, okay? It gets deep, okay? Because at the end of the day, we're talking about citizens. We're talking about the public. We're talking about Yasharella, okay? Hawaii's people being victimized of DEWs, of frequency wars, okay? That's what it all boils down to, okay? That's what it all boils down to.
Actually, the correct terminology to me should be tortured citizen.
Mm. Right. Yeah, and I have got that from I have heard that from a couple TIs, a couple of them, cause you have put me on a couple of them, and I have actually made a presentation here along with your interview to show the people, man. Some people they need to maybe follow or see if they can get some detox information from. One would be this guy named Tony Pellalarusco. The guy knows what he's talking about. He's real knowledgeable. There's another guy, man. He's activist. His name was Kimbrick Hunter. Dude knew what he was talking about. Yeah. Right, man. Dude knew what he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? Understand that everybody that we deal with, you know what I'm saying, is not going to be on the same spiritual platform that you're on. Okay, not everybody is 100% fully awoken to the necromancy and the spell. All right, so you're gonna have a lot of JC people out here. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, look, the word shall be given. The word shall be given to those who are worthy. Okay, to those who are worthy, and therefore Yasharella will get the message. All right, because Yasharella is still out here hungry. All right, we still have a vision, we still have a plan to follow, all right? And we keep the laws, we keep the mitzvahs, we keep the commandments, all right? That's day to day, all right? Let me see, man, I have some questions here for you. So, I mean, you broke down the gang stalking very, very, very nice, man. Like you said, you were a part of gang stalking. You witnessed it. You were attacked by it, okay? So, let's see, what have you ever seen any like physical, like DW, a predator droid, anything of that nature?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I start with the DWs, man. Like I told you, the first time I was hit with a DW, I thought I was going to die. And this happened the first 4 times until it put me in that fight or flight mode to say, okay, I have to find something to alleviate this. And that's when the extreme research comes into play, and the networking with other TIs and stuff like that. But the symptoms, first thing, you know what I'm saying, they want to attack your heart. That's the main thing for the DW, and slow the heart rate down. So the first time this happened to me, I was sitting in a chair doing some research, and I noticed I began to get sleepy.
Wow.
And I noticed it became hard for me to breathe, and my heart rate became very slow, and I started leaning to the side, and I didn't understand why, and I couldn't do anything about it. I was conscious of the fact that I'm about to fall out the shell.
Right.
But I couldn't do anything about it. And so that's one of the effects of the DWs. Now, nanotech plays a major part in it.
Yeah, man. That nanotech, man. Wow, man. Yeah, that's what I was hitting the people with today, man. Really is a continuation of this nanotech and detoxing, you know what I'm saying? And we'll get to the detoxing part here in a little bit, but we got these main objectives to cover, man. Which main objective is detoxing, because it's all about taking care of the tribe, you know what I'm saying? But really right now, I just
predator drones. You know, I sent you a footage of me being followed.
Right.
I can tell you this: as much as I scream, fear is not an option. But when there is a predator drone following you as you walk around the block, then that's something that's very unsettling. I mean, that's something that's extremely eerie. Just by the way that it moves, and it's flying so low, and basically it's done for surveillance. You know, we understand that these things can be weaponized, but they're pretty much, I guess, was there to pump fear, to to let you know that we're watching you.
Right. And that's it's interesting, man, that we bring up this you bring up this predator drone like that because what I'm reading and what I'm discovering, man, and this correlates with the drop that Con Drops got going on with the AI, the artificial intelligence. I was listening to one of these TIs, and also I was doing research, and there's an agenda even in the actual mountain, the Iron Mountain, okay, scenarios of discernment, okay. They're trying to lower the count of people in the military and replace them with AI, replace them with drones, okay? We start talking about these drones, my people, my tribe, mi gente. Look here, man. We're talking about vehicles that are unmanned, okay? We're talking about just weaponry on this situation, on this plane. And it does this hovering mechanism, however, what have you, because there are different kind of there's predator drones, there's different kind of style of drones, okay? The ones that are in the neighborhood, those are the ones with the little choppers on them, like 7 or 10 of them that keep them up, you know what I'm saying? And they can hit you with some shit too out here. Now they got the big ones.
No doubt.
They got the big ones, man. They go to like from state to state, bro, miles and miles. Traveling like at 500, 600, 700, 800 miles an hour, man, unmanned. Well,
no doubt. Hey, yourself, let me say this. When you speak about the AI thing, man, it's definitely they running everything through one big ass computer.
Right.
But what they're doing when they do these things, they're looking to read your brainwave.
Correct.
They're reading the frequency that's coming off your brainwave.
Correct.
And that's why, we can't stress, me and you can't stress enough how important it is to purge these metals out your body. That the process must be started now. It's because I liken it to 10 radios that's in a room. They have already pulled my antenna up. Already. So it's nothing for them to pull anyone's else antenna. So you want to purge these metals as soon as possible on a daily basis and try to eat, as much electric foods as possible, but I cannot stress to you the importance of detox. And don't worry about it. It don't matter what you put in your body. You just have to purge it out and detox because it's everywhere.
Man. After so much research that I've acquired, man, I swear, man, I'm gonna tell you something, man. And I went to school and shit. I learned some shit about frequency. I went to school for electrical engineering and the distribution of telecommunications. You know what I'm saying? Understanding frequencies and all that shit. Man, let me tell you something, man. I learned more when I self-applied myself to just concepts that I was digging on. You see what I'm saying? This shit about going to school and actually being somebody, and that's all a fucking gimmick. That's all part of the matrix. At the end of the day, you stuck with a fucking bill, you still stuck with no job. Okay? Now my true knowledge that I've acquired, man, comes from not going to school, man, but actually being heart to heart with my choices in life, about self-evolution, about consciousness. You see what I'm saying? And I've acquired so much, man. Everything on this land is chapped. I've been doing my own research with the water, all right, with the primary member, and everything ties in together, okay? Because he who controls the water controls everything, all right? And you and I covered the dams, AD, true wave surfer, man. He brought this up a while ago about the study of the dams and stuff like that. And we touch on it when we do politics, you know what I'm saying? The water's chapped, okay? The water's chapped. The rain cycle is chapped. All water here is chapped. And this brings me to a good point, that it doesn't matter what we consume as people. Everything chapped. Ain't nothing out here good for us, you know what I'm saying? At that point. To each his own. To however you eat, however you get down. You understand? Just know we all take risk in whatever we eat and whatever we buy from the store, regardless. A lot of TIs will tell you that a lot of shit is chapped. The food is laced.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, but just like Tony Pentalarisco said, go get a microscope yourself and take a look for yourself. I challenge you. It's just that simple.
What he was saying to go take a challenge of, go take a view of?
Yeah, get a microscope. I think it's like times 500 or something like that. And you can get smaller ones.
Right.
I mean, me and you talked about the jeweler's loop.
Correct.
And go to your local supermarket, grocery store, Whole Food store, and take a look for yourself.
Con.
That's simple. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. All in the produce. It don't matter, man. Like I said, it don't matter if you're buying fresh produce, if you're buying frozen produce, if you're getting in the can, man. Everybody getting hit. We all getting hit, okay?
Yeah, no doubt about it. What it has done over the years. Because as far as my research takes me back, they've been spraying since like the 70s, but it has increased. And what it has done is layered up on you and formed what you call biofilm.
Yeah.
That ain't going nowhere. That you're gonna have to purge. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to break it down through these salt baths.
Okay, so this biofilm you speak of, this is part of that shit that they dropping on us on the chemtrails. That's where we acquire this from. Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean it's on the nano. It's on a nano scale. It's so small, but once it starts to build up on the inside, then it forms on the outside. Then it starts to coat. That's why I used to get out the shower and not dry off. I used to hear like a little screech. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of sticky. You get out the shower, a good hot shower, and you drying off. And you kind of feel it. Yeah, you can kind of feel it. You know what I'm saying? It's like a sticky film.
Right.
Break that biofilm down.
And man, it's that's everything correlates, man. Because I'm sitting here, man, and giving the people to drop here on this video I'm putting together, and they're finding plastic in the snow. I know you had a couple videos. Snow ain't real. You know what I'm saying? This was in Atlanta a couple years back. So I'm doing some research, and they're finding plastic in snow. They're finding plastic in the water. They're finding plastic everywhere. Okay, where is this plastic coming from? We're talking about remote areas, man, that people don't even live in, but there's plastic there. That don't make no sense. All right, so what's going on? This plane's passing by. They're dropping this shit on us. This plastic shit, whatever this is. This ain't nothing but nanotech coming through.
When we talk plastic, we're talking polymers.
Correct. That's what that leads me to.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what that leads me to, and I'm putting this video together with this, with all this and these polymers, man. This is polymer fiber, okay? And follow me with me here real quick. So on this video I'm putting together, man, it's plastic, right? So there's plastic everywhere, so this plastic is on us, all right? Also, put a key perspective here. Deborah Tavares had a microscope, a jeweler's loop, what have you, okay? Y'all can purchase a jeweler's loop from Walmart, but shit, not my Walmart, because they ain't have it. So I was mad, man. But look, man. Right. Yeah, man, you get that jeweler's loop magnifying glass, man, and put it to your skin, okay? And you're going to see the polymers, okay? You're going to see those fibers. All right, don't freak out. Everybody got them. Everybody being hit. Everybody got to eat. I'm telling y'all, man, look, man, we out here shitting out phosphorus like crazy because we getting hit, okay? And that same water comes back to us. Okay, we ain't doing nothing but accumulating it worse and worse and worse and worse, creating it to the 10 power, to the 100 power, to the 1,000 power, to the million power, to the billion power, till our body can't do nothing but just shut the fuck down. Basically, that's all we have. Man, I'm not sure. I think we have like a 45-minute session, but what happened is if we shut off, man, we'll just reset another meeting. You heard me, and we'll get this finished. All right. Because right now, I think we got like 25 minutes. recorded so far, but I know we started at 9. But all right. So what I'm getting at is, man, is that these polymers, okay? We all have them, okay? They've been shitting on us for a long time, man. For a long time, all right? We all have them. We all been outside while this shit's been going on. Nonetheless, the way I view it is that these polymers, they're like fibers, okay? What are fibers, all right? Fiber is a expensive way of running data, okay? It's done through plastic, okay? But understand at the end of the day, plastic is flexible. You can bend that motherfucker. You can do all kind of shit to it, okay? The thing about fiber is that once fiber has been penetrated, you know, because a tremendous data loss is found, okay? So with you saying that, hey man, we need to detox, you know, that's part of that shit, okay? When you have a VPN connection from ATM to a bank or what have you, it has its own private connection, all right? Own private connection. When it's got its own private connection, nobody can tap into that. It's got its own Ethernet, okay? Not being used around anything. So when you tap into that, let's say you want to break into that, so much data is lost, okay? So it correlates with me saying that, hey man, when we take this detox bath with salt waters and purge ourselves, right? We're not doing nothing but shutting down these fibers, okay? We're shedding this film off, because at the end of the day, that's what we see. It's film, okay? It's film that they're dropping. It's on the nano scale. We can't see it, you understand? And when you talk nano, you're talking chip, you're talking technology, okay? There's something that has been programmed to destroy. In their view, is to destroy, okay? You hear a lot of products that come out that say they have nanotech as well. What are they doing? What's the agenda? You feel what I'm saying? Let's see here, brother. So we talked about the predator droids. We talked about a couple TIs, Tony. We talked about the other activists. One guy that really touched out for me, and that was the first guy you sent me, because he gave me the whole rundown of the actual program itself. Okay, because the program, my Nagas, is run by the DOD. Can you give me the breakdown on the DOD, Department of
Department of Defense.
There we go. Department
of Defense.
Right, and Department of Defense orchestrates all this shit. Okay, the Department of Defense is what's popping off with these DEWs attacks, okay, led by none other than the military. This is all done through military, okay? There's even things saying that more military droids are going to be out in the streets, not police, okay? So we understand that we're getting closer to this one global domination, you feel me? Start getting rid of the state locals.
And just to clarify some things with and I want, man, I can't thank Dr. Sean Andrews enough for breaking the program down for me. And a lot of other TIs. But what they're doing through the military, they're privatized through private companies. So these, it may be like military, not military, but private security companies. And so this is who is being done through. Now, what these private security companies go out and do is they go out and hire through various other methods, maybe like temp agencies or what have you.
Yeah.
And so basically, what the military is trying to do is distance themselves away from it. So you can't point the finger at the DOD or the Navy, but when they're the ones that patent the technology.
Right.
So we know it's them.
Yeah, it's the DOD, man. That's who's popping off this shit, man. Man, let's go on and get into the detox, man. I really haven't spoken detox other than saying something about just taking your salt baths. You heard me? But just go on and break it down for the people, man. Understand, let the people know why it's important, okay, to condition yourself like this, and how often should the people do it? What are they doing? What do they need to buy? You see what I'm saying? How often they need to apply this into their day-to-day life? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, go on, hit us with that, big dog.
Okay, no doubt, no doubt. The first thing I would throw out there is borax, and with borax, you know what I'm saying, you cannot do borax without Epsom salt.
Okay. So
like
when you speaking,
you know,
borax, right? We get out of the cleaning section, correct? Borax, the only one type of borax they got.
Right.
Now, borax ain't nothing
Only,
but crystals. At the end of the day, we're just talking crystals, correct?
Crystals.
Correct.
Only mined in California.
Bam, there we go. Certain, you know, and I was thinking this, man. I was thinking this with you, man, and there's a certain reason. Okay, borax was just discovered not too long ago. And I got the information from Stephen Reese when I was doing my water breakdown, and he said maybe like 1940, 1950, borax was found, and there's so much help, with it. You know what I'm saying? That comes with it, and I'm doing the borax bath right now. I'm still waiting on my a lot of things to come in, man. I'm still waiting on a couple things to come in for me, but it's in the works. Right, man. I'm still waiting, bro. It's coming in, and every day I'm tracking things, man, making sure it pop off. But so this borax, man. Go on and break it down, man. What do? You got hot water? You got cold water? Break it down for a brother. Let the people know.
Well, starting off, what you want to do, man, you want the water as hot as you can stand it.
Understood.
And you want to soak with the Epsom salt. And what you want to do, you want to get this film to start breaking down. So when using soap, you know what I'm saying, there's something that you want to do at the last minute.
Okay.
Like right before, because, you know, you want the salt, you know what I'm saying, to melt through the pores.
Right.
Go through the pores and start breaking this thing down. Now, the thing about this nanotechnology, you cannot only fight it on the outside, but you must fight it on the inside also. And so people have been drinking boron with water for a long time. So I use it, I use like a teaspoon and put it in, you know, my copper water drinking vessel, shake it up, let it sit for like 24 hours.
Yeah.
And so you also want to fight this thing on the inside, because one thing about it, you cannot fight it directly. It will switch up on you. It will mimic another part of the tissue in your body.
Understood. Wow.
And that's what it does. You know what I'm saying?
It's self-replicating as well.
Exactly. It attaches itself to your DNA structure, and it self-replicates it, and it blends in and starts to build these the circuitry board.
And that's what they were saying. That's what they're saying, man, is that you're gonna be a walking circuitry board with all this nano shit they're dropping on. You understand? We already proved. Go on, get yourself.
All they gotta do is dial your antenna. That's it.
That's it. And that's what I'm getting from it, man. Once you have become physically into their perspective, meaning, look, man, once everything has taken place, like you start building your polymers, man, you start connecting. Before you know it, you are a walking motherboard. You're a chip, my naga. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it. These people are already trying to put chips in you. What do you need a chip for? There's no reason for you to need a chip. Okay? Tony told you there's no reason for you. We don't require bandwidth. That's for computers, my naga. We don't require that. But imagine if you had a chip and you're already getting shit on. You have these fibers, these data. Every part of your body has a polymer attached to it. Doing what? Bringing information, my naga. So they already know.
And not only that yourself, but you know what I'm saying, it has layers. You feel me? So the effect is gonna be twice as much. It's like now when I get hit with DWs, it's not as, you know what I'm saying, much, you know what I'm saying, worse as it was. Because I started the process of purging these metals out my body.
Now I've started physically, man. Internally, I haven't moved internally yet, but physically, I have started. I have acquired my borax. I got a nice. I'm stocked up with Epsom salt. You see me, and stocked up with borax too. And that's that right now. That's how I acquire it. You know what I'm saying? That's how I attack it right now. And also, you
don't forget about the castor oil too.
Right.
You as it breaks down, you want to move it out.
Exactly. So once you start, he'll tell you how you start attacking the inside. He already explained to you one way, and that's with the borax. Okay, letting it sit for 24 hours in your copper vessel and consuming it. All right, but he also deals with the HPH 35%. Okay, going to people about 35%.
Oh man, the best investment I have ever made in my life.
Best what, brother?
The best investment I have ever made in my life.
Man, I heard you the first time. I just need you to emphasize that, man. Wow, man, that's an investment to you, huh, my brother? Man.
Hey, we call it the ruach, man. It's water and oxygen with an extra atom. And what it does is it energizes the two. And so I've learned through real doctors and herbalists and holistic doctors that any disease cannot thrive in an oxygen-deprived environment. And so once you start to oxygenate the body with hydrogen peroxide, 35% food grade, that's the key word right there, because they use it.
Food grade.
They use it with cheese, storing cheese and stuff like that.
Right.
And once you start to oxygenate the body, it becomes oxygen enriched, and disease start to flee.
They start running, huh?
They start running. I think I sent you a clip of it under the microscope. You feel me?
Right. I did get that, man. I wish I could. Man, what was that? Was that on my Let me see this, man. Let me see if I can try to upload that video here, man, a little bit, man, cause
upload it right quick.
Yeah. That was pretty interesting, my brother. But
Oh yeah, and distilled water, and the reason why you want to use distilled water with it is because the anything else, any type of other water has minerals in it.
Okay.
And so you want the hydrogen peroxide to work on the body, not fight against the water that you're putting it into.
Right. So no faucet water, none of that. You want it to heal within your body. Understood.
No purified, no pH balanced water. You want strictly distilled water.
Understood. Mm-hmm. No contaminations. All right. So like how do you like break it down, man? Like, I mean, do you just grab it, pour it? I mean, how does it come with stuff? I mean, how do you basically go about using it? Like, how many drops you use?
Okay, well, it's a protocol. You can, research it, and it's a protocol where you start off with, 8 to 11 ounces, 2 drops. Then every day you want to work your way up to 25 drops, and
Understood.
Then work your way back down.
Okay.
And this is the process of getting your body used to it and getting enough in there as to where the effect would be as good as using lesser drops. But what they're trying to do is get it in as much in there as possible and start removing toxins. So that's why they have the protocol to go up to 2 drops, and each day you increase the drop up to 25, and you work your way back down.
Right. Wow, man. Because I tell you what,
I do 9 drops. You know how I do it. I just do 9 drops.
Do the 9, huh?
8 to 11.
That's what's up.
I got to be on the 9. You feel me?
Right. That's what's up, man. I tell you what though, man. I see the effects just from me physically attacking it on the outside. With my borax bats, man. Man. I mean, like the first time I hit it, man, with so much film, you know what I'm saying, that just acquired, you know what I'm saying. It's like this is the first time I detox off anything like that matter, you know what I'm saying. And man, I was really surprised with what I seen, you know what I'm saying. And understand that this attack is real, you know what I'm saying. Understand that this attack is real. It's been out here on the public, you know what I'm saying. This is nothing new, okay. We're just really understanding, okay, the diversity of this attack. You see what I'm saying? Nonetheless, my brother, I mean the hydrogen, man, that's a big ups. That's a game changer. That's a game changer, because not only is it wiping out parasites within you, you know what I'm saying? And like you said, you take the magnesium and go and flush all that shit out. Flush it all out. And look, man, y'all gonna see some shit in y'all stools, man, and y'all gonna be like, it's gonna be mucousy.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be what, brother? Mucus like, man. And there's number this
like
parasites. Exactly like Dr. CB say, man. Exactly. All right. Keep electrifying yourself. Oh, also on that note, on top of the borax and the Epsom salt, man, I had apple cider vinegar with the mother.
Oh yeah.
With the mother. Go and electrify that water.
Some of that in the bathtub. Buddy. Press the waters, man.
Yeah, man, that's what we call them here, man. And man, I'm still waiting on a lot of things to come in, man, because as I acquire knowledge, man, and try to go ahead and break the tribe off with this knowledge, man, because we all need to live, man, live healthy, and we all need to try to eat and try to stay healthy, you know what I'm saying? But with all this shit going on, you know, the Cinemax, you know what I'm saying, aborted fetus cells, you know what I'm saying, in the food, you know, all kind of shit popping off, man. It's ridiculous out here, man. You know, once you really sit here and read and take a look at what the agenda is, shit, everything else just fall into play, and how they work it, how they manipulate it, man. But, you know, at the end of the day, there's non-believers. There are non-believers out here. You know, see what I'm saying? And, you know, before we end this video, man, give me a word, man. Give me words, man, to describe what a non-believer should do, man. What a non-believer, how he should change his game, man, and really try to wake up and understand what's at play. You see what I'm saying? Because we're all tested out here every day. And for people not to understand and see the visions of everyday tests and not understand that you're being attacked and tested, you need to wake up.
Okay, just like I was in Proverbs the other day, and it talks about, you know, wisdom will find you. You can't go looking for wisdom. It will find you. And so those that have ears, let them hear, and those that have eyes, let them witness. Now, hey, it's on you. We have no dog in that fight, but I can tell you this right here. Don't worry about it. Once they decide to dial your number and pull your antenna up, then perhaps, you know what I'm saying, you're harping.
And that is true, man. There's so much drop out here in this world, man. Especially when we start talking about this frequency wars, man. They'll dial up your number any minute and make you out a victim.
Drop said that long time ago.
Straight up.
Said that long time ago. It's going to be a frequency war, and that's definitely what's popping off.
It's definitely what it is, man. It's definitely what it is, my brother. But man, look, man, appreciate you being on the show. You heard me, coming out here on this extension part of Tokef Benag, man, and letting the people know what's the real, what's popping out here. You heard me, and from me casa to your casa, man, Tawada for your energy and your vibrations, man, for the people.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Anytime, I got you. Tawada.
All right, my naga. Later. What's your